button and let me go ahead and share it out while people come on in.
Yeah, I'm still probably gonna have to duck out in about an hour, hour 15, but yeah, nah. Gotta get in there with y'all this week. I feel like so much is going on. So much is going on, man. It's been I made a video the other day just saying it's been a busy July, man. Busy July.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it don't surprise me how busy it is. I mean, PlayStation is making history right now, so
Right, right.
it's gonna be busy. It's gonna be busy for the rest of the year and a half, 2 years. It's gonna be busy for the next 7 years, honestly, because I don't think this is going away. I don't think that things are gonna go as smoothly for PlayStation next gen. The rest of this gen, they'll be just fine. I don't think they'll see any issues, but we'll talk about that during the financials part of it. I think that they're going to have an even bigger quarter next quarter and an even bigger quarter after that, except for
Yeah,
hardware sales. I think that's going to go down because of cost and shit.
are we
But
live? Yeah, are we live?
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
want to
we live.
pick your brain about that. Yeah, I wanted
We
to pick
live.
your brain about that, man. Because all right,
I
like
just
we
haven't
have.
got into it yet because I'm giving the people to come in. You know what I mean? Give them a few minutes to come on
Yeah.
in. I'll do the intros and then we'll jump right into it right away. That's the first topic.
Hey, say no more. Say no more. Yeah, because it's things have developed. You know what I mean? I went back and I've actually made over the month that this has been going on 3 videos about this, and being able to go
Hmm.
back and it kind of like that's how I really view my channel most of the time. Anyway, is like a time capsule, but being able to go back and see like what I thought when this first happened, when this first dropped in our lap, to
Hmm.
like when it came out like a week and a half later, yo, this backlash is still going
Oh
to
yeah.
a week and a half after that. Now the month is over, and it's like, you know, well, we'll talk about it, but there's been developments. There's been developments, and I think that you know, I think people are coming to terms with where they are and what side they're going to be on, and battle lines are kind of being drawn, strongholds are being built up. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh, and Sony has spoken. Sony has spoken, man.
Yep. I mean, but
Uh,
there's a big misconception too. I mean, and we're going to talk about that too because there's a big misconception for I think just the gaming, the PlayStation fan in general. I want to keep it to PlayStation because honestly, who gives a fuck about Xbox? Who gives a fuck about Nintendo? They're doing their own thing. Xbox has been
yeah,
digital forever. The difference between Xbox and PlayStation is that they're not in charge of every single disc that that goes on on their console. So them going all digital is irrelevant. What up, the Yu-Gi-Oh collector? What up, my boy? And Nintendo
well,
obviously is continuing to do their thing, but there's a ton of misconceptions, and I'm gonna be interested to hear what you had to say about that as well, because uh, whatever, it's a lot of shit going on. But what up, guys? What up, gamers? Just giving y'all a few more minutes to come on in, man. Nelson's gonna be late. He said he wasn't feeling good. He had some
Nelson got the runs.
this is the second week in a row he didn't feel good. So we'll see if he does come on in. And we also have a special guest in the house as well. So it's gonna be a good show, man. We got some topics for you guys today. We're gonna be talking a whole bunch of stuff. We only got our special guest for about an hour, so we'll try to get to the important stuff right away. But yeah, I'm just giving you guys a few minutes to come on in. In the meantime, hang tight. I'll be right back. I gotta go get me a water, and then we'll probably start our intro so we can get the conversation going.
Hey,
Give
there we
me
go. There
uh
we go.
give me about a minute, bro. I'll be right back.
Yeah, yeah. I'll try to riff with the chat real quick. What's happening, y'all? I'm a not too special guest. I preacher. I've been on. I think this is my third time on it. We're gonna try and keep it at least semi-regular. You know what I mean? So, I know some of y'all in the chat. Some of y'all have come by to see my channel as well, which I appreciate. You know what I mean? Appreciate y'all coming by. I'm trying to bring up the chat too. Yeah, here we go. What's up, y'all? Shit, chilling before it starts storming. Hey, I hear that, man. I hear that. It's supposed to be crazy tomorrow. And I'm supposed to have a busy ass day tomorrow. That's why I gotta slide out of here 10:30 my time. So you know, if you gotta get anything done, you ain't get it done yet, you might have to wait. Might have to wait. I'm thinking even my stuff tomorrow might have to wait. I don't know what's going on. We all at the mercy of ever changing Mother Nature at this point. You know what I mean? But I guess we're taking it too deep away from games at that point, all that global warming. Oh no, no, you don't got the this is how you share games on autoplay. Hey yo. We are definitely in straight up, you know, villain. It did not have to be this. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think most people can understand. Well, I want to let you, get into the
Yeah, let's get
introducing the.
into it, man. Let's get this thing started. We don't got a lot of time with you, so let's get our intros out the way. A couple house cleaning things. Nelson, are you in?
Man,
Hey, my guy.
You're
it's
alive.
been a rough Sunday, dude. I was having a real good weekend up
Being a
until today.
pussy again today?
Yeah, I've been in bed all day.
Fucking pussy. I told you about that
Mm,
shit. Change your
I was
tampon.
saying she had the runs.
I did. I got the shits real bad, dude. I
Well,
brought my kid to church. I did. I missed. It's a hour-long service. I missed 40 minutes of that bitch in the toilet, just fucking
Yeah.
well,
squeezing
Well,
perfect
shout
time.
out to
railings.
you. Shout
Perfect
out to you
time.
showing up for the 20th.
We're
Yep,
gonna
yep.
do our intro because we only got preacher here for an hour. So we're gonna
Okay.
try to knock this out. But real quick, welcome to the State of Gaming podcast, guys. I appreciate every single one of you guys as always. Thank you so much for being here today on this beautiful Sunday evening. We are going to talk some gaming, guys. Some big news came out this week with PlayStation, their financials. So that's one of the topics. We're also going to talk, excuse me, we're also going to be talking um, some general gaming shit that's happening in the industry, such as is Xbox the savior, which we've kind of dabbled a little bit over the last couple weeks, but we are continuing to get more articles and more he said, she said, and I feel like this stuff is picking up. We also got some information sent to developers over at Xbox in regards to some changes that are happening with their backwards compatibility or physical to digital kind of initiative that people have been quietly rumoring around here in the industry. So we're going to talk about that too. And we're also going to talk about Stellar Blade and or Stellar Blade 2, right? I don't even know the name of the second game, but I call it Stellar Blade 2. I think everybody understands it. And AI and what happened with this weekend. And I'm going to or this week and I'm going to give you a little hint. I ain't mad about it at all. At all. And I'm super excited to see what the crew here is going to say about that. And I'm guessing they're going to have different opinions than I do, but it's going to be a fun conversation because today we have a special guest in the house as well as our co-host. But before I bring them in, I want to say real quick, guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to give you a couple stats on how we finished the month of July because the month of July we crushed it, y'all. I mean, I don't even know how the fuck this happened, but in the month of July, we had over 271,000 views in the month of July alone, which is basically 213,000 views than the previous month. So month over month, we went up 213K, all right, in views. That is insane. Hours, we ended up finishing at 16.8 thousand hours viewed in 1 month. That's 13,000 in the previous month. But don't get it twisted because the previous month before that, we ended up doing like fucking 12K. So it's on and off. And then we've gained 2K subscribers in the last 30 days. 2K. Insane.
Hell yeah.
2,000. So we're now currently at 6,650 subscribers, guys. So we went up from 4,600 4,500 to 66 in a month. So that is incredible. We are getting basically 506% more views, more likes, more clicks, more whatever. That's that's what we're doing on the channel, and it's all thanks to you. We just in the month of July, we also got 5 videos that hit over 30,000 views just in the month of July alone. Now, that's not a new thing for the channel. We have had videos that hit over 30K, but 5 videos in the same month, that is impressive. And once again, it's all because of you guys. And finally, we finished the month off at 10 members. So we grew by 4 members in the month of July. So super cool, super, super amazing. And real quick, if you guys don't know, which you probably don't because nobody gives a fuck about memberships and shit like that. But the money that I get from members, well, whatever's left over, because YouTube, of course, got to get their cut, and it's a fat cut. But the money that I get from the membership, I invest right back into the channel, guys. I'm able to buy half of a AAA game a month at 10 members. So it's not that much, but it allows me to maybe go half with the community on a game that I'm not really interested in playing. For example, we ended up buying the Berserk, what's that game called? Berserker Kazam game. You guys paid for it basically. And people were requesting that game to do a will it play. You guys, became members. You guys did super chats, and I went ahead and bought it, and that was all because of you. What was the other one? Assassin's Creed Shadow, right? People were curious what's going to be on the disc. Members paid for it. So that's what I do with your money. I take it, I reinvest it back into the channel. We go out and buy games that I normally would not buy, and we buy them so the community gets the benefit of it. So whenever you do become a member, whenever you do a super chat, whenever you invest any kind of money, you're helping your fellow gamers find some information out that they normally wouldn't get. For example, we just did a Will It Play with No Internet, Outcast A New Beginning. The game came out a few years ago, but nowhere on Google, nowhere on doesitplay.org do they have the answer if this game will play with no internet. Guess who does have the answer? Will 777JP does. Let that sink in,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Out of all fucking interwebs, nobody's got the fucking answer. That blew my mind. And as a matter of fact, I don't want to take the credit. I don't have the answer. The person that ended up getting the answer for me was Eleanor, who just became a member. Shout out to Eleanor out there in Europe. She's a hardcore gamer. Her fiance is a hardcore gamer. I think he games on PC. She loves console, but she told me that the version 1.0 print of that game actually needs a patch. There's a glitch that will not let the game finish installing. All right. So we found that out through a member of the channel. So little things like that are all because of the community. So thank you guys. But without any further delay, the last thing I want to say in regards to what's going to happen this week on the channel, I started as of today my collection videos that you guys been asking for. We started with part 1. I currently have part 1, part 2, and part 3 uploaded. If you're a member, you can watch all 3. If you're not a member, you can watch part 1. Otherwise, part 2 will release later this week, part 3 early next week. So if you want to watch those and not wait until I schedule them to come out, become a member, you get access to them right away. With that being said, let's get this party started. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the house. He's been here a couple times previously, and he was just here, 2-3 weeks ago, but he decided to come back today. And in the house, we have Preacher. How are you, bro? What have you been playing? How's life going for you?
Oh man, I'm happy to be back. You know what I mean? I feel like every time I'm on here, something's popping off. So, if I'm showing up, it's gonna be a hot one for sure. It's been an interesting month for me, man. Very, very busy. You know what I mean? I had a couple personal events going on. I had a big party over at the crib, my girl's birthday and all type of stuff. And then, wrapped up in that has been this huge physical games fiasco and everything else going on in the industry, the Xbox layoffs. It's crazy. And then I feel like the financial reports dropped out of nowhere. I wasn't even ready for those. I refreshed the feed one day and those were just there. And now those are big talking points. So tons of stuff to go over, man. Super excited. I've been playing a lot of the Avatar Legends that just came out. That's the fighting Avatar game. Super good, very hard. Wouldn't recommend it to most people if you're not big into fighting games. It feels very funny to be playing like a game that's such a popular IP that's very much a hardcore fighting game. Um, but it's warming me up for Tokon, which also comes out this week. Very excited for that. Um, I'm starting to look at Beast of Reincarnation. I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy, and it's this apparently takes inspiration from those remakes fighting system, which I think it's like perfect for everything that I love. You know what I mean? It's both super mechanically in depth, but also a layer of strategy with the time stopping menuing, which harkens back to old school JRPGs. So just everything I love wrapped up in all in one. No big deal. So if the Pokemon dev can bring some of that to bear for this, I think we're looking at a good one. So good time to be in gaming. You know what I mean? It's never really a good time to be in gaming if you're watching the business of it all because it's always in such flux and dire straits to make number go up. But there's never been a better time to actually play video games, man. There's so much out there and way more coming. So super excited to get into everything.
Yeah, I agree, man. This is I look at it from a little bit of a different perspective, in the sense of it's a great time for gaming, but because we have all these years of gaming that you can play now. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that have released that you can play now, and a lot of the times they're in their finished state. They are years out from already being released, so now the final, DLC's out, all the updates have been done, they're running optimized, they're running how they should have been running on day one. And also so many new games coming out. I mean, the month of September alone, I think my bill's gonna be like
Mm.
$500. Um,
It's getting rough. I'm saving, man. It's getting
yeah,
rough. Like,
it's so yeah.
yeah.
I already bought the shit that I had to pay. The collector's editions that I already pre-ordered, some of them I had to pay up front. Those are paid for, and all the other games, they charge you as they get sent out or shipped out. But yeah, it's
What you
it's
getting?
crazy. Oh man, what am I not getting? That's the real fucking question. Beast of Reincarnation.
Yes,
That's
sir.
Tuesday. Amazon says I'll get it by Wednesday. I also have the Switch 2 version of Oblivion, which is fully on cart. That comes out the 11th, which is next week. I got my list here actually. I can read it off to you. Um,
Any
JDM
Tokon?
Japanese. No, I'm not a fighter.
No,
JDM
understood.
Japanese
Understood.
Drift Master. That
Nice.
Mortar Shell 2 Deluxe Edition. I was one of the lucky ones that actually pre-ordered one back then. It's called the Revere edition. Brigandine Abyss is one that I also have pre-ordered, but I'm gonna cancel. Same thing with Luna Abyss, a Drift Edition. I'm canceling that as well. And Resonance of Plague Tale, I'm gonna cancel as well. If I get a
Hmm.
little bonus check from work, then I'll keep the Plague's Tale. But I gotta cancel the other ones. Um, in September, right away, Blood of Dawnwalker, that's paid for. We have Onimusha Steelbook Edition, that's paid for. Coffee Talk Tokyo, that's paid for. Um, but Marvel Wolverine, that's not paid for. I'll probably
Oh,
pick it up. It depends how I'm doing with the other ones. I'm not like really hyped for Wolverine, but then we got Trails in the Sky
oh,
second chapter, Ace Combat 7 Collector's Edition, that's paid for. And then
Ace Combat is in September.
Ace Combat is in October.
Oh, okay. Whew.
Yeah, no,
Phew.
I
It's
skipped
about to
some
be
other shit,
popping.
but like Silent Hill Townfall, that's
Oh,
gonna be
gaming,
paid for. Control
gaming.
Resonance, that's paid for. The Steelbook edition is paid for. So yeah, that's just in the next 60 days. That's just the next 60 days for me
Come
personally.
on, man.
I went on the
Yup.
stream, was it Friday? Yeah, Friday, and I was telling the chat how I had a talk with my accountant, and he was not happy. He was not happy. I had to tell him at the end, which I felt disrespectful towards him. But he's a good friend of mine. We went to high school together, and I became one of his first clients out of college. So we've had that relationship. But at the end, I was like, John, I fucking hired you. Okay, like you, I don't work for you. But I
Yeah.
felt bad, and I had to call him the next day and apologize because he's right. I've been irresponsible with my money, and that's his job, is to look out for my best interest. And I let my wants and needs, and oh no, I'm okay. I got the money. Act like a fucking child. But yeah, it's been a crazy month, and that's why that's why I canceled a couple of the games that I mentioned, like Requiem, or not Requiem, but is it Requiem? The rat game. Well, I don't know if they're gonna have
Yeah, I
rats
think
this time
is it
around.
Requiem or Resonance? It's one of
Resonance,
them R
Resonance.
ones. One of them R ones. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Resonance is canceled. I was gonna pre-order Wolverine, but since I'm not super hyped for it, and plus I have Blood of Dawnwalker pre-ordered, as well as Onimusha pre-ordered, then I might not even pre-order or get Wolverine, because those games are definitely gonna take me longer than 2 weeks to complete. So I'm making some adjustments to appease John, and he's right. I mean, some of these games I'm not gonna get to any fucking way, so why even get them day one when they're not? But that's part of the problem, is PlayStation's is doing this, right? Because they're canceling physical games. And well, before we continue with that, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Nelson, Gaming Culture. Nelson, how have you been, bro? What have you been playing besides your wiener?
Up until today, I was having a wonderful weekend. I went to a Mega Man concert.
I seen that, man. That looked amazing.
That was fucking cool. Marcus had a great time. They played the whole game,
Did the kids
Mega Man
enjoy it?
X from start to finish. Yeah, they did. The thing about it is we were depressed because at first I didn't know there was an opening band, and they started like packing up after 45 minutes. I'm like, wait, you played one song from a Mega Man game, and it was Mega Man 5. My wife was like, that's it, time to go home. And I was like, ain't no fucking way I paid and drove
Oh,
all
your
the way
wife
down here
went
for
too?
that. Mm-hmm.
That's surprising. I thought it was just you and the kids. Here, I'm pulling up
No,
your
it was all of us.
Twitter,
I'm
because
still
I know
adding
you.
videos because I've noticed if I drop everything at once, nobody will see anything after the first. So.
Here we go. Let's see if I can. But the time will come. No, no, that's not it. Man, you post so much shit. Here we go. Here's Nelson. So go check Nelson out over on his Twitter. He's got all those videos posted, or you can just
They're my
join us on our
shorts.
Discord or his YouTube channel. Here, I'll send you guys the link to his channel here in a second. But yeah, go check it out, man. He posted a ton of content on that. But yeah, what else, man?
And then I finished Cosmic Invasion with my kids. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, finally.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't been home a lot this summer. We're not going to be home a lot the rest of the summer. They're gone next weekend. I'll be home, but they're gone. But the weekend after that, I'm on vacation. That's why I better feel better because I can't be taking off any more goddamn days. I had to take off to get my vehicle fixed last week. $2,100. So I ain't buying shit till
Yee.
like fall. Yeah.
Jeez, what happened?
My alternator went out, and they have to take the whole ass end of the car out to get to the alternator because that's how engineers these days work.
Damn.
Yeah, I was having problems with my car too, starting it up, and I thought it was gonna be the starter or the alternator, and ended up being the fucking batteries. I was like, oh, thank God, $120, $150. Thank you. Come again.
Yeah, I was
Appreciate
like,
you.
wait a minute, an alternator? I've done an alternator in the matter of fucking an hour before, and they're like, yeah, but this one has to. You have to take the fucking
For your Subaru?
axle out. No, for my Escape.
Mm.
You have to take the axle
Oh,
and shit out of the back of the car.
I got an Escape too. It's built like some real genius engineer put the Escape together, brother. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a
like an
battery issue
alternator, dude.
too.
Like I fixed one when I was in the army in like 45 minutes. It's right there on top. You just take a bolt out and put a new one on and put the fucking bolt back in, and then put you know what I mean? Put the This one you gotta take out the axle and shit like that, and take a bunch of other shit out. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, the civilian side has to make sure they're hitting your insurance for as much as they can. So,
Hey
you
gamers,
Fucking
so
know,
real
crazy.
quick,
It took 2 days to get back too.
I put Nelson's link to his YouTube channel on the chat. Click on that, go subscribe, and I also put our Discord link there as well. So join the Discord. It's free. It's a great way to talk to me and Nelson personally, even Preacher. But yeah, also real quick before you click on that Discord link, look, if you're a pussy and you got thin skin, don't join because you're just gonna be offended. I don't need that shit. We do have people from all walks of life. We have gays in there. We have blacks in there. We got the Puerto Ricans and Hispanics like me. We got the whiteys like Nelson. All right. So we got it all. So I just don't want to make it seem like we are, keeping people out. We're not. We are keeping out the pussies. We don't need you. Okay. We want the gamers who are willing to be opinionated and be open as well. So join if you think you fit with that crowd. If you're sensitive, then don't come in. But I think you guys are good to go because you are listening to me right now, which I talk like this any fucking ways. But just giving you a heads up because I don't want no fucking. I need a safe space, fucking pussy in there. Like, not get the fuck out of here with that shit. Um, Nelson, what games have you been playing with lately?
I also finished Mouse PI.
Yes, you
no shit.
you messaged me about the fucking airplane level fucking
Yeah, that
dying.
was
I
fucking
died a
very
lot too.
frustrating.
Yeah. What
I
you
spent
think?
like 3 hours on that.
What do you
That's
give the
one of my
game?
favorite games this
You're a
gen.
fuck. I knew you were gonna say that. You're a fucking loser. You're just
I
saying
love
that
it.
because of the art style. You're not saying that because the gameplay is good. You're not saying that because the
The
voice
gameplay is really
acting's
good.
good.
The guns
The
were really
man,
cool.
weak,
The
He
stages
said it
were
last time I
immaculate.
was
It was
here.
fucking American. It was amazing.
weak. Fucking them guns ain't got no kick at all. It's like you're fucking shooting rubber bands. Fucking weak ass shooting.
This is why. This is why
Damn.
Nintendo's best. It's a Nintendo type game. It's fun.
Nah, fuck no. I just beat Splatoon Raiders. That game is fucking dope. Splatoon Raiders was fire. I had such a good time with that game, and it's not super easy like people may think. I died a whole bunch in the last like 20% of the game. Like it felt almost Souls like in a way. I was like, what the fuck? Do I gotta go back and farm shit? Like, do I gotta bring it down to difficulty level? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, it got me to that point. But look, Splatoon is not, or I'm not Splatoon. Mouse PI, I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a good game. I just think that they they could have done better, man. They had Troy Baker doing the voice acting. He did tremendous job, but the story was fucking mid as hell. The writing was super fucking just blah, and the shooting, those were my biggest complaints. And with the shooting, it's just it didn't have any kick. It didn't have that umph behind it. You know what I mean? Outside of that, the game is great. A lot of good weapon options. The design of the level designs were dope. There's a little bit of difficulty and challenge in there, but not enough to dissuade you. And those are some of the balances that I look at when I play these types of games. And I think they hit it out the park with that. And also the black and white, the art style. Come on, you don't even got to talk about that. That's all. That's an automatic. But that's dope, man. As far as I go, I beat Splatoon Raiders a few days ago and loved the game. 25 hours, and I started up Tales of Arise, which is a game that I started playing a few years ago, but I only played like 4 hours and I dropped it. I don't know why. And I've been playing it for the last like
That's my 2021 game of the year.
4 or 5 days. I'm about 20 hours in, and man, that game is fucking
No
amazing.
runner up.
I just got to the third Lord in the game, so I think there's a total of five. But I'm a little sad because I got Beast of Reincarnation coming on Wednesday, and I gotta either finish Tales by Wednesday or delay one or the other, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's get into it, man. Because this week we have a ton of news, and like I said, we only got Preacher for a little bit, so let's bring up some of the PlayStation financial stuff. That's the stuff that I really want to ask Preacher about. Uh, they had their quarterly financials. And look, no surprises there. PlayStation is doing really well. Their monthly active users increase of 2%, which is the highest they've ever had actively per month ever. Their money is better than ever. The only thing that went down is hardware sales. They're behind the PS4 by I think it's like 7 to 10 million total. And that's it. That's the only negative. But the real talk of the town was the physical shit, right? There were a couple, and I'm just gonna kind of run through it real quick because I did do a 2 hour stream on Friday and we talked about this there. But there were a couple questions by the investors in regards to physical. And basically, PlayStation said that they haven't seen any negative effects to their business as of right now. And they think that things will rebound soon, which I don't really take that serious because you have to think, guys, this is a very sterile environment. They're not here to, break things down to a molecule level and help people understand the reasons of why they're doing shit. It's just bam, here's the answer, bam, 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 let's keep it moving. But another reason of why I don't believe Lin Tao, and by the way, I like Lin Tao. I think she could be my wife in the future. Is she literally said the same shit about the
One of us.
capacitors. Literally, she said the same shit about the
One of us.
capacitors.
50-50.
You know what I don't understand about the whole thing that's fucking confusing? You're still gonna do a code in box, so
We haven't got to that part yet. Yeah, so
whatever, 15-20% of each sale, you still gotta ship that shit. So really, you're saving $1. You gotta do
it's
all the. It makes no. It's
because it's
fucking
not
pointless.
about that. Come on, you've been listening to me for a
I
fucking
know.
month. But the reason I don't believe her is because she said the capacitors or whatever the fucking product was that she said the same exact shit is it's not affecting us right now. Business as usual, right? We'll rebound. The other highlight that before we get to the physical stuff, the other highlight is that we shouldn't see any major price increases for hardware for the next year. Uh, According to them, they have enough materials and chips to continue building PlayStations and according to their budgets and plans. So that's another thing to keep an eye out because if we see a huge price increase, then we know they're full of shit, especially when Xbox just had a big price increase in Europe, which we will talk later. But in regards to the physical, let me pull up some information here for you guys real quick so you can kind of follow along with me, which is the same thing that I showed on the stream on Friday. And then we'll go ahead and ask the panel members what their opinions are. I'll ask them a couple questions and then we'll let Nelson jump in and disrupt us whenever he has an idea or something he wants to discuss. But number one, I am getting this information here from William Aguilar, like I showed on the last time, because he broke it down pretty good. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm pulling it up right now. Give me a second. Ever since I started watching anime, I'm now fucking bookmarking anime shit. So I'm sorry, I gotta scroll through a whole bunch of shit that I normally wouldn't.
Oh shit! You knew the anime? I
I
like
am.
that. I like that.
I am
What you
very
what
new.
you watched so far?
So like Attack on Titans, I've seen that. Well, I still got to watch the last like episode, like the last two episodes, which are like the movies. I still got to
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
those. But honestly, I watch a lot of like rom coms and like romance. Like that's my jam. But I started watching not Demon Slayer, but the other Jujutsu Kaisen. I started watching some of that.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was pretty
These are
dope.
good ones.
But yeah, Dan on Netflix. Asked my dad for his password and shit because I don't, I'm not into Netflix, but that was pretty cool. Fighting the aliens and spirits and shit and Turbo Granny and taking the kids
Yeah,
dong.
man. I grew
Uh,
up on it, so I love it, and I love seeing people get into it, man. That's
but
super dope.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. But I'm into anime from way back. I
Oh,
started
anime. Yeah,
oh yeah, yeah, just in general. But
just in
Jujutsu
general.
Kaisen is really good nowadays. You know what I mean? And Attack on Titan, and there's a ton of stuff coming out. So yeah, yeah,
Bro,
yeah,
I
yeah,
watched
yeah.
Attack on Titans and I immediately was like, man, I wonder if they got a game about this. And they did. And I ended up buying both the games and then they announced a new one so it was like all perfect timing for me, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it just
hell yeah.
worked
Having
out.
the whole experience.
The
And I
whole
heard those games
experience.
are good.
Oh, dude, they're
Excuse me.
fun. They're fun. The only reason I didn't play the second one, I beat the first one as soon as I got it. I didn't play the second one because then the third one got announced, and the third one looks like it's going to do the whole series, where the first game handles like season 1 and 2, and the second game handles
Mm.
season 3 and 4. So
Yeah.
as soon as they announced the third game, I was like, fuck it. All right, so here we go. Here we got Sony's or I'm sorry, William Aguilar's numbers. So once again, Sony's overall operating income is up 40%. They're at 136 billion yen. Sony attributes this increase to success of the INSS, the Imaging and Sensing Solution, and GNS Game and Network Services, aka PlayStation. Um, PlayStation monthly active users up 2%, 2 million year over year, compared to 123 million in fiscal year Q1 2025 of the 125 million current. So 2 million more. Sony sold 1.6 PS5s in 2026 for a total of 95.3. So they're about 5 million away to hit that 100 million mark. But once again, they're still behind the PS4 by a little bit. So far, fiscal year Q1 2026, PlayStation digital sales accounted for 82% of the total. 18% of sales are physical, which physical actually went up a couple percentage in comparison to previous year. So, but I tell guys all the time, like, this is nothing to be excited for. This is just the norm. You know what I mean? It always goes up a couple percent, always goes down a couple percent. The reason it went up a couple percent is why? Well, because PlayStation actually released first party titles. We got Ghost of Yote. You know what I mean? So the previous year when it went down, that's when PlayStation didn't release anything. You know, they had Astrobot and what was the other one? I think it was Helldivers. I forget. But whenever PlayStation releases more games, physical numbers go up. It's just pretty fucking simple math here. Also, exclusivity. When you see PlayStation with exclusivity, physical sales go up. PlayStation doesn't do much exclusivity anymore, so therefore the numbers are a little bit lower. And I'm speaking for physical and specific. So those are the numbers there. But the big thing that is the news and what we want to talk about with the panel here is what they said specifically about physical. So number one, they're not they're not changing it, right? They're up there talking like, "Hey, this is not a big deal. We hear the community." They did do some kind of like there's some things we got to think about, there's some things that we are hearing in the industry and we are going to try to work with the industry kind of talk. Very little of that talk, but they're just showing face in my opinion. But the bottom line is that they're not changing anything. And and this is the first question I'm going to ask Preacher is here we have a tweet from Hunter who says Sony says game disc is not a big factor of differentiation between PlayStation and PC. Actually, I don't want to ask that question first. But anyways, Preacher, let's just get to the basics. What did you think of Lin Tao's, what she said about physical, how she kind of brushed it off, you know what I mean? Like it's beneath her, you know what I mean? Like she didn't really get into much detail. It was more like, hey, we said it, we're doing it, that's it kind of vibe, you know what I mean? What did you think of
Yeah.
that? And then the other thing too that I wanted to ask you, I said this on my stream on Friday, is not one not one answer from Lin Tao was a financial answer, even though she's the chief financial officer. Every answer she gave was spoken like if the VP would have said it or the CEO would have said it or the president. She did not speak about numbers at all, which was disappointing to me because I expected to hear numbers from her because she's the finance girl. But outside of that, what did you think about their attitude during that you know that Q&A?
Yeah. Yeah, nah, I appreciate you. And personally, uh I loved it, man. I really did. Um, because I prefer a direct approach. You know what I mean? And it almost was a little non-direct for me because ultimately what she said up there was fuck you, right? Like like you can't
Yeah.
really, you know what I mean? She said, "Yeah, we heard you, but also fuck you." You know what I mean? We
Mhm.
don't care. They don't
Mhm.
care at all. You know what I mean? And I feel like obviously there was a lot of emotions when all this started, you know what I mean? And people drew the line in the sand and they wanted to really fight back against Sony and really try to, you know what I mean, punch back against the big corporation, right? Commendable, but now we spoke a little bit before the show started of like seeing how all of this developed. This is part of that development, you know what I mean? You see people kind of starting now, they're like, well, I guess the big protest didn't quite work out how we've expected it to so far with that kind of response, because that kind of response, you know, and let's not mince words, people showed out. People have showed out for this physical thing, like the backlash for it, like it's past the peak of of that backlash. Like it's not going to get that big again. You know what I mean? And they ultimately weathered that storm, and you're hearing their response to that now. And that response is "fuck you." You know what I mean? So for me, as somebody who like, I knew this was going to be PlayStation's answer from the very beginning. You know what I mean? And what I have said from the very beginning is it's important to make your thoughts known, even if Sony's going to say fuck you, right?
Mhm.
If you have a problem with this, you should say something about it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And if you have a problem with this, you should take actionable steps. You can't just say something about it, right? I have a problem with people who are doing a whole, and I know you're seeing this too, of people who are doing a whole bunch of yapping online, right? And then you go turn on your PlayStation and you're buying a bunch of digital games. You went ahead and bought both of the Black Ops. You got Wolverine pre-ordered. So all that talking is just moot. You know what I mean? It's rigmarole. You're aggrandizing yourself if you're not standing on your actual morals, right? You're gassing yourself up. You're not actually living your raps, and that's what I love about this Lin Tao shit, because she got up there and stood on it. You know what I mean? No, y'all are not about to get physical discs. You know what I mean? So now, and it can really not be interpreted as anything other than a fuck you to the fans, right? That are really crying, not crying, but like, crying out for this physical, or we're crying out for a reversal on that. And it's like a fuck you and a slap in the face, right? So now the thing that I love about that, obviously I don't love that the corporation would do that to its fans, but what it does now is draw a clear line in the sand on where Sony stands, right? I knew this, but now people have to engage with this reality. Sony doesn't care. They do not care. So what are you going to do about it? Right? Now ball is back in the gamer's court. And that has always been my problem, right? My problem is that most gamers are not going to have the self-control, or they don't really find this to be as big of a deal as they're making it out online. You know what I mean? Because if it is that big of a deal, you're going to change your purchasing habits. You're going to change which ecosystem you are involved with. You know what I mean? If you're not doing that, then it's just talk. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that is where this is now. Sony put it back in your court. You made your voice heard. They heard you. They don't care. Now
Yep.
what do you do? Right?
Yep.
In the next, we just talked about how many games are coming out in the next 60 days, right? Never mind the next 6 months, right? The rest of the year, right? A lot of games coming out on PlayStation. If we want to talk about PlayStation exclusives, you got Tokon, Phantom Blade, Silent Hill, Avatar just came out, right? And dropped as a surprise exclusive, or a console exclusive at least. You got GTA 6 coming out which might as well be an exclusive. Never mind stuff we don't know about. You know what I mean? And then you have this, what is it? The blackout they're trying to do very conveniently right before Wolverine comes out, right before Grand Theft Auto, right before Call of Duty. That's not gonna matter. That's not gonna matter if the next day you're spending money on PlayStation,
No,
because they already told you they don't care.
it's only gonna be so during like you go, I'm gonna use McDonald's as an example, but like you go to McDonald's at noon, right? That's rush hour for McDonald's. That's when they're the busiest. The next busy period will be like 5 o'clock dinner time, right? People get out of work, they don't want to cook, they stop McDonald's, whatever. So, and then another busy period is like, I don't know, 7, 8 in the morning before people start work at 9. So they have like three major busy periods of the day. If you stop at McDonald's at like 2 o'clock, more than likely you're gonna get quick service. There's nobody there. It's gonna be empty. That's their slow period. What's going to happen with the blackout, the way it's going to register for PlayStation is, oh, this is just a slow period. This is just a Monday for us. You know what I mean? It'll spike back
Right.
up on the weekend. That's all this is going to be. But going what Preacher said about the what Lintel said is this is not a surprise at all. We knew this was going to be their answer. We knew they're not getting it into details. We knew all this shit, right? But Preacher is right in the sense that what are you gonna do about it, right? Now, look, I'm currently in PlayStation's most up-to-date post that they did today on Twitter, which was 9 hours ago, and it was a marketing post for what game is this? Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, which is available on PS Plus. And if you go through the comment section, you're still getting heat. A month later, people are still posting no disc, no buy, which is important, right? I've mentioned this so many times before. Word of mouth goes both ways. All right. Just like when you're happy and you buy a car from your neighborhood dealership and the salesperson treats you well, when your neighbor asks you about it, you say, hey, go check out Will over at ABC Motors. They treated me well. That's good word of mouth. But negative word of mouth works the same exact way. People do it all the time. You go to Google review before you go to the new restaurant. You go to Google review before you go to the theater that you've never been to make sure it's okay, right? You see what people are saying. So it goes both ways. So even though this doesn't affect PlayStation right now, there is an effect to it eventually. Secondly, the whole spending of money. This is your time to shine, guys. This is your time to shine. This is where you have to put your money where your mouth is and say, I'm not happy with what they're doing. I'm not going to support what they're doing, and I'm not going to buy anything digital anymore. But one misconception, and I want to talk about this, and then I want to ask you guys what you think about this. One misconception that I see, and I spoke about this on Friday, is it's only been a month. Okay. So to say that it's failed, it just makes no sense because to first off, we're not going to change anything with being vocal. And as a matter of fact, if every single physical gamer stopped buying fucking digital games, it probably still wouldn't change anything for PlayStation because the amount of digital gamers there are out there and the bump they're going to get in revenue is just too big. And not just that, they need to lose millions upon millions of PS Plus members and millions of gamers to just not fuck with the ecosystem in order for them to really, really feel it to the point where they're like, we got to change this. We got to change it. It's not going to we're not going to survive here. And let's be real, that's never going to happen. But what this blackout thing, what tweeting on social media, what being vocal, what all that does is it makes it uncomfortable for PlayStation. And that is the real goal here. The goal is to make it uncomfortable. The goal is for when Activision makes a marketing campaign with PlayStation and they're supposed to make a tweet today, and every single post under that tweet is saying fuck PlayStation. Activision picks up the phone and says, PlayStation, we paid you all this money for a marketing campaign, and all we see is fuck PlayStation. What are you going to do about it? Are we going to get a discount on our next marketing campaign or what? That is where we wanted to get. We want them to get the heat from all places. So when we talk about boycotts and shit like that, our boycotts aren't going to reverse anything. What we hope it does is it makes it uncomfortable for them all the way to the end. All the way to the end, what you decide to do, whether you decide to go to PC, whether you decide to, whatever the fuck you decide to do, all the way through to the end. But, Preacher, what do you think? Do you think that it's enough to make them uncomfortable and the industry starts going to PlayStation and using the example that I gave you of, hey, we had a marketing campaign for you. We paid, a shit ton of money. We got this shit scheduled months in advance, and all we're seeing is fuck PlayStation. Nobody's talking about our games. Do you think that is something that can happen if people keep the pressure on these posts and tweets and word of mouth.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's what they've done well. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call the backlash a failure. I wouldn't call it a failure because it got massive and it's still going, but I definitely think it's past its peak. And I think that as we go on, more people will fall off, more people will find other things to be upset about. I think this was the big thing for outrage culture, but the thing about outrage culture is it needs fire I mean, it needs fuel to burn that fire, you know what I mean? And they're always looking for the next big thing. So, but I do think that this has had a permanent effect on the way that a lot of people see PlayStation, you know what I mean? And after the PS4 generation, I think a lot of people got out of the like or stopped recognizing PlayStation as more of an arrogant company. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
they had not because they were ever consumer friendly. I don't think PlayStation ever played that card, but because they had had such long strings of success.
yeah.
Um, I think that people feel like those strings of success aren't really there in the PS5 generation. I would very highly disagree. I think if you put it on paper, it is much the same, if not better, than the PS4 generation. That's a take, but that's mine. But I think that the prevailing sentiment, no matter what I think, the prevailing sentiment is that PlayStation has no games. Even you see that all the time. People will just say PlayStation has no games. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? In the same way they used to say Xbox has no games. Now it's not true. It's certainly not true that PlayStation doesn't have any games, or they would have never even thought to take away physical games to begin with, because they would have been doing everything they could because they had no games, so they had to fall back on
Oh,
something.
well, I
The
want to give you
reason
some
they're
pushback
doing
on that
yeah,
too. Actually, that's a good one. Great fucking. I'm glad you came today. That's a great point you made there. But I'm sorry. I'll let you finish before I ask you.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
So you make a great point. Let's move on to the next topic, actually, because that's a great point that you bring up. And the next topic that I want to talk about is the next question that they asked Lin Tao, the investors did, in regards to basically what they said is an all digital PS6, how are you going to compete with PC? And here are the three things which I harped on in my stream Friday about the three things Lin Tao mentioned on why how they're separating themselves from PC. Number one is curated content. Number two, the game environment is stable. And number three, affordability compared to PC. She says, so going forward, we can coexist peacefully with PC games, right? And the question was advantages PlayStation has over PC according to Sony. And the reason I'm bringing this up is the whole no game situation. So let's attack one of these one by one, right? So number one is curated content. This console generation is the lowest by far. I think we're talking less than 20 games total that are exclusive to PlayStation only, meaning you cannot play it on PC, you cannot play it on Xbox, you cannot play it on mobile, you cannot play it anywhere except PlayStation. That is it. Less than 20 of them. To give you another comparison, the PS1 had over 500. The PS2 had over 400, PS4 had over 100 and something. This by far is the lowest ever in history by a big, big margin. So when we talk about curated content, what curated content are they talking about specifically? Preacher, what do you think about that? Because they do have the
So
games, obviously, right? Like we got so many games that are coming out, but all these games are also coming out everywhere else.
I I seen a tweet with some of this information on it recently, and I think that this is a it's one of those things that's I don't want to call it a misconception because it's true, but I think it's a misconception versus how it's applied in reality, right? So PlayStation 1 had what, like 500 exclusives? Why was that the case? Because PlayStation 1 was the only game console really running CD-ROMs like that, right? Like they had a proprietary uh you know, uh, uh, technology base in order to make a PlayStation game, right? That was one of the big draws to it was that they were CD-ROMs. You know what I mean? If you were porting it to N64, it wasn't like porting something from PlayStation to Xbox or even to a Switch. You know what I mean? You really had to condense these games and cut out big parts of them, and that's why you see very big differences between like the PS1 ports of a game and an N64 version of a game.
But also,
You know what I
PlayStation
mean?
was writing a lot of checks back then too. I mean, everybody knows the famous story with Final Fantasy, how I forget the team's name, but the fucking exclusive team took the Square Enix team out, or Square, what was it called back then?
Squaresoft.
Square Soft
Squaresoft. It
They
team
must have been
spent
a
out.
like
hell of a
between
party. It
marketing and
must
all
have been
that
a
shit,
hell
they
of a
spent like
Yeah,
night.
$100
yeah,
million
yes,
dollars on that goddamn game, and
yeah.
a
They
game back then used to cost 1 million
It's like they took
or
him out
less.
to get fucked up, you know what I mean? Like on a fucking Wednesday night, took him to the strip club and they signed the agreement on a fucking napkin at the strip club while they had titties in their
Had
face
to be a
and
hell of
sake.
a night.
Yes, exactly. So,
Yes,
we've all
sir.
heard those stories where they were super aggressive, because there are new kids on the block. They wanted the content. They were, actively going for that content very aggressively, and it pissed Nintendo off. And that was PlayStation's, MO back then, was we got to piss Nintendo off as much as we fucking can because they fucked us. And look, it created PlayStation. But we've seen a little bit less and less than that over the years. And something that I
I
brought up.
disagree with that. I disagree with that. We see less of it. I think that they still very much do that. Chris Dring, who does the gaming business podcast,
mm,
he actually just had over the summer. He had the leader of Sony's second and third party on. You know what I mean? And he's the dude who leads the team that goes and moves and shakes and signs these deals. And if
mhm.
you look over the PlayStation portfolio, they've still done a lot of that this generation. Some years, some entire years have been carried by third party. I think it's
The
with
first
less
half.
frequency because games come out less frequently.
Well, the
That's just
first
how
half, and
game
also
development is.
the games themselves, right? We're not getting, and I brought this up last time where I said, where was PlayStation with Stellar Blade 2? Where is PlayStation with Capcom? Like these partnerships don't really exist anymore. PlayStation's not going after these guys anymore. I'm not saying we don't
Well,
see
when
them getting these deals. It's just the deals they're
yeah.
getting are not the big games that we're used to seeing from them.
Well, I think about things like Final Fantasy I almost said Versus 13, RIP. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, right? That came exclusively, and I know it went other places later, but that day one effect is huge. You know what I mean? And then you have other huge properties like Silent Hill. Silent Hill 2 popped exclusive for like a year. Then now we're getting Silent Hill Townfall. Like Silent Hill Townfall is my most anticipated game, like of the entire year, easy. You know what I mean? And that's if you're on a console, that's exclusive to PlayStation. That's a big deal. You know what I mean? I don't think that can be easily dismissed. That's huge. Then you have things like Phantom Blade Zero. That's another one that's huge in even other regions like China. That's going to be massive in China, like a
That game
Black
should have
Myth
been out
Wukong.
3 years ago. Honestly, that game is fucking pissing me off.
That's gonna be a long one. I'm surprised they haven't showed anything about it. That gives me
'Cause,
kind of what was that one that they
nah,
had before?
what else they gonna show? They've been showing that bitch nonstop for 3 years. It's been part of
They
every state
certainly
of
have.
play. There's nothing else to show. It's here's the date. Fucking you go get it or not by now. I mean, I'm
No,
gonna get it day
I
one,
thought we were supposed
obviously.
to have the date.
Oh, that game got pushed like 3, 4 times, but that game should have been
Yeah,
out 2, 3 years ago, right? And that's I say that I'm tired of it. It's just that I'm tired of hearing about it because I hate hearing about games over a year out. Because I like who gives a
yeah,
fuck? There's too many other games from here till then. So I'm exhausted. I don't want to hear no more about that game. I already seen everything that I want to see. I just wanted to get out already so I can go get it. But the
yeah.
games that you mentioned, those PlayStation's still getting some, but it's not like how it was, man. They used to get 2, 3 exclusives a year of the big games, not including the small, especially when they went through that indie fucking push at the middle to end of the PS4 gen with Shuhei. We haven't really been seeing much of that in the last 2 years from PlayStation. The last big.
But we still get those kinds of games. Like peep this, right? Peep this, and not to interrupt you, I apologize, but like think about at the top of the year, we got Karen, right? And then you get Neo 3, and then you go down the list. I'm sure there's something in the middle that I'm missing here, but then you get to the summer and you get Avatar Legends, right? Just look at those three games. Those are three super highly rated games, not from PlayStation, exclusive to the PlayStation ecosystem, that are all like not only critically acclaimed, but surely high sellers as well. You know what I mean? These are popular games
Mhm.
from popular series, or well, except Karen, that people are looking towards, and that keeps people in the ecosystem. That for me, like when I talk about PlayStation, I don't talk about them as a publisher. PlayStation as a publisher does not really matter to me. PlayStation as a publisher is a bonus on top of
Well, they've
the
never been
benefits
that.
that I get.
They've
They're
never
a
really been that.
platform
Yeah.
holder.
Yeah.
They are a platform holder. So I don't know why people, and not you or anybody on the chat, but like, I don't know why people look for PlayStation like, oh, PlayStation didn't drop 15 games this year.
Yeah, they've
They're
never
not
been that.
supposed to.
Mm-mm.
They're not supposed to. That's not why. I don't know why people even want that. They drop one or two big games a year, and with the consistency that PlayStation has, not only in their output, just their output alone, right? Because they do definitely have those one to two big games a year. So not only the consistency in that, but the consistency of the product itself and the quality that it comes out on. Who is competing with them there? Nintendo. That's really it. You can't look at Ubisoft and say they're doing the same thing as PlayStation. You can't look at EA and say they're doing the same thing. Make Capcom, but that's only recently. That's only in the last like 5 years. They've really been on a tear. You know what I mean? Nobody else is putting out game of the year contenders every single year with a bunch of exclusive content coming to like I think that when we look back at PS1 and we say, okay, they had like 500 exclusives. That's cool to say, you know what I mean? And it's true, right? But that doesn't directly line up with the reality of the gaming industry now, right? You're not going to have 500 PS5
Yes, but
exclusives. That's never going to happen.
what's another reality of today's world? The other reality is that a PS5 Pro costs $900. An entry level PC costs anywhere between $700 to $1,000. I know because I bought one and I play my games at 120 frames per second. And I also can get these games that you just mentioned on PC for cheaper. So that's another reality too. We're not talking about a $200 console anymore. So the number one thing she said is curated content. Yes, in an all console world, you can say that, but with PC being as plug and play as they've ever been, with the cost being super comparable as it's always ever been, that curated content is not looking as appetizing anymore for somebody who does digital all better than PlayStation does. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And Steam definitely is going to have that play. PC as a whole is going to have that play, but they always have. You know what I mean? That always has been the case. And
Except for the exclusive
I don't
content,
think,
though. I think that's where the big difference is. Because we talked about
but
that
but
this
as
generation
PlayStation
where
rolls back, now, like things like Ghost of Yotai are not on PC. Things like Wolverine are not on PC, and or not going to PC. I think that will play a contributing factor. And as Lin Tao says this, I guess she's running PlayStation now. I assume there will be more of that going on. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think that there really is like I don't see a big migration going to PC. You know what I mean? For multiple reasons. Because you're never going to build a PC at the same performance for the same price. You're gonna have to pay, you know what I mean, to get the sort of performance you will get from a console.
that's I see I
Because
disagree because I got my PC pre-built $1,100. I can run Cyberpunk at 110 to 120 frames per second, 1440p. My PS5 Pro was $800, and I only paid a couple $100 extra. If I take out PS Plus, I make up that difference right there. Um, I got the
But people aren't
Steam.
gonna look at that when they're buying the actual device, right? So you still paid like $1,100 versus $800. Let's say when I bought the PlayStation, it was 700. I cashed in my original
Well,
PlayStation
it was
5,
800
and I
because I
got
bought
it
the
for
disc drive
312.
with it. You know what I mean? So it was
You see, and I didn't even buy
700
the
plus
disc
80.
drive. Yeah, I didn't buy no disk drive. I didn't buy no stand. I got my PS5 Pro for $312, cashing in my original PlayStation. I think that's going to be most people's first instinct is, okay, I'm going to cash in my old PS5 and get a PS6, let's say, right? Or they're at least going to look at that option, right? You kind of don't really have that option for PC directly unless you're going to, pawn your stuff, and then I feel like that's a whole different game, you know what I mean? Or I guess you can get the cash from it from GameStop, but surely when the PS6 comes out, they're going to have some sort of promotion, just like they did when the PS5 Pro came out, which is what I took advantage of. And people are just going to go for that, right? Even if the PS6 comes out at $900, right? If PS6 comes out at nine
Well,
hundred
will
dollars,
we?
you're going.
Will we? I mean, GameStop is
Oh,
already
I don't think
going
we'll.
away from video games. They don't
Nah,
have
they
nothing to gain
definitely
by
won't.
selling an all digital console. So, will we see the same amount of sales that we saw? I mean, we're already seeing the slowdown on physical video game sales right now, and it's only been a month
Yeah,
in.
I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see the exact same. I think we're going to see the exact same, if not bigger, because people are going to remember the fact that games only got more expensive this generation,
So,
and there's no guarantee it'll be the
do you think
case.
the PS6 is going to take off with the same steam as the PS5 did as far as people wanting to get it?
Maybe not same exact, but definitely same window. I don't think this really
Ooh.
affects much. I don't
Oh,
think. I
interesting.
don't think there will be.
I
Yeah, I
think the
don't think
opposite.
people. Yeah,
I,
I think people, I genuinely think people are weak-willed. And I think when they see something that they want, let's say it comes out, let's say PS5, I mean PS6 day one comes out Bloodborne remake. And it's like
that's
this,
never going to
I don't
happen.
know now that Blue Point's gone. I don't know who would do it, PlayStation, now that Blue Point's gone. But let's say they did that, right? That's huge, right? That's going to change the conversation around PlayStation, right? And it's going to change the conversation around PS6. And my point with that is it only takes one game. That's one game that could do all of that. If they announced Bloodborne, never mind Bloodborne 2. What if they did Bloodborne 2 exclusive PS6 launch? You think
It,
motherfuckers is gonna care about shit? They're
if
not gonna care about nothing.
if they
They're gonna buy
weren't
that.
if they weren't ending physical, I would say yes. But let me tell you my reality. 6,000 subscribers, 2,000 in the last month alone. The conversations that I'm having in my channel, which are conversations I never had before, are this is my last PlayStation console generation. I bought a Switch 2. I'm looking into buying a PC. I'm looking into buying retro. Nelson is officially going retro. He's been stocking up. I have no longer bought any digital games from PlayStation. I'm also wrapping up. I increased my physical game purchases over the last month, which I will keep increasing buying. Just this month alone, I mean, I don't even want to talk about the amount of money I spent. Um, I have no I've even cut down on my talking about physical ending on PlayStation because I'm over it already. I'm actually just waiting for the console generation to end so I can fucking focus on the other things that I'm gonna do. And that's been the reality that I've been seeing. And there's a lot of people here on the chat that have also said the same things that I have. They're done with PlayStation. We had a couple guys trade in their PlayStation and bought a straight up Nintendo Switch 2, where they're like, I don't even give a fuck about performance no more. Where I used to care about 60 frames per second, I used to care
Exactly.
about 100.
Nintendo
I
baby,
don't
let's go.
care anymore. I just want to own my
And I
shit and play it at my pace.
and I applaud that. You know what I mean? That's the sort of dedication that is necessary in order to make any sort of in order to affect any sort of change that you want to see in this space, right? You have to be able to make the hard decision and give up something that you might enjoy, right? That's the harsh reality, and that's the harsh reality I don't feel like nearly enough people will be able to make. I don't feel like many people are going to make that trip to GameStop or wherever to trade in the PlayStation. That's where my dissent lies. You know, it's not in the righteousness of the cause. It's not in the fact that, I don't personally want people to have physical games. Of course not. it's that I don't think that there's going to be a lot of people who actually stick to those sort of or take those sort of hardline stances.
Yeah.
You know, I
And the
could be certainly wrong,
and
but
the chat
I think we've seen this a lot.
the chat is also bringing up a couple good points. I mean, and they're saying Bloodborne is popular, but it's niche. I think it did only sell like 7 million copies. Most people are buying a console for GTA and fucking Fortnite, right? So I do think, and let's move on to the next thing she said, right? Because, and I'm gonna skip the second one, which is the game environment is stable. We'll come back to that one. But the third one is, since we're already talking about it, affordability compared to PC. Um, because people are only playing, or the casual gamer is basically playing the Fortnites and the GTAs and the 2Ks, which you can basically play anywhere now. Fuck, you can just get GeForce Now on your TV, which I have a fucking coworker who doesn't even play games to subscribe to GeForce Now. Like I don't even understand what the fuck he was thinking. But he says he love it. He says he plays fucking what's that cooking game with the In and Out or whatever the fuck it is with his girlfriend. Um
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I know
Chop.
what it's. I know what it's. I
Yeah,
don't know what it's
yeah,
called.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he
I know
got it for
exactly.
that. He's like, yeah,
You grill
bro.
the burgers and then you try to
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
make
you
money in a
running
restaurant
around
and
the
shit.
whole
That's a
joint.
He's
fucking
like
cell
Yeah,
phone
yeah,
game. Just play that shit on your phone.
he's like,
yeah.
well, because they wanted
Why would you
I
get
don't
a fucking computer to play a cell
he
phone
didn't
game?
get a
I
he
don't know.
didn't
Paying a
get a computer.
subscription for
He
that
got
one.
GeForce Now on PC. He's paying $10 a month and he plays it
Yeah,
on
I
the
know, but just
TV.
play it on your goddamn phone.
Bro, okay, I'm not him. I don't fucking know. Everybody thinks different. Fuck. But that's an
GeForce is great
example.
though.
That's
Yeah,
just an
it's coming.
example of the accessibility that you have to these games. You don't even got to buy the fucking hardware. So I think when the next generation comes around and the standard price, because I don't think it'll be more than $700. I don't think a PS6 gonna be $700-800 max. That's what I think. I don't think it's gonna be more than that. But when they look
I
at that and
do.
they start to say, okay, well, I only play 2K, I only play Fortnite, and then I only play Spider-Man or God of War. Is it worth $800, $700 just to play those games? I don't think people will. I think people would just look for the path of least resistance. The hardcore, yeah, you give them a Bloodborne Day 1 remastered at 60 frames. Yeah, the hardcore is already going to be there. But with them ending physical, see something that people are getting fucked up too about them ending physical. You have a lot of people that don't give a fuck about physical that are mad about this. They're not mad because physical games are going away. They're just mad because it's another option that's taken away from them. It's another thing that PlayStation is doing that pisses them off. But when we're talking about affordability compared to PC, there are so many alternative ways to play the games that you want to play and not even have to buy a PC or console. And to be specific, the exact thing Lin Tao said, it wasn't affordability compared to PC, it was affordability compared to high end PC. Those were her exact words, not PC, high end PC. So she's already trying to create this buffer of nope, high end PCs are two, three, four, $5,000. We're nowhere near that. So therefore, we're not even in the same bracket. When in reality is you don't need a high end PC. You can get a 5060 Ti like I did for $1,100, and now you're playing games at 4K upscaled 120 frames per second. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
most
With
people are
free
just playing
internet.
Minecraft and shit. Anyways, fucking
You
But
can
I
just
would
go get a
consider
Steam Deck
anything
pre-owned for
Roblox.
$400 or a Switch.
I would consider anything you have to pay over $1,000 for high end. Like
Well,
I would consider. I understand that
if
it's
you,
not necessarily the high end of like the high end of PC gaming, right? But I would consider anything that you pay for over $1,000 in this space in the high end of gaming. Right? You're not in the
But you
highest
can't
end
include
that you
PC
could
in
be.
that because 1,000 is really the low end on PC. Like you wouldn't say
I don't
anything
think
over a
so. I don't
thousand
think
is
so
high
because
end.
people if we look at the what is it, the Steam survey, right? It shows you what most people are using, right? Most people have 1080p machines, right? That's just a fact. That's what
Hmm.
most people are running on Steam. So I think that if you want to talk about okay, people are going to migrate over to PC, I
I
think
didn't wait. I didn't
that's what
say
they're
that.
looking for.
I
if you
didn't
look
say
at
that.
even or not most people are moving over to PC, but the people who are going to move over to PC, right? This is the kind of shot that they're taking, right? You're either deciding that you're going to make a big financial move and maybe invest like $1,000 plus, right,
I think most people
into
will
gaming right
downgrade
now.
and move over to Nintendo. That's what I think most people will do. The ones
I
that are gonna
can't see
move.
people. Yeah, I can't see people moving to Switch. I think that the performance delta is just way too. The gap is
I
huge.
just bought a game.
It's huge.
I just bought a game last week where the better performance is on the Switch too. You can get 4K
Wow,
120
what game?
frames per second. It is Gunvolt.
Gunvolt?
Yeah, not the main series, but the off series, the Luminosa one that just came out, the 1 and 2
Okay, I've
combo pack, which is the reason why I bought it on Switch too, because I was gonna try to get it on PlayStation, but I ended up buying it on Switch for that specific reason. But if I that's another thing too. If I own a Switch too, I don't play too much on there because most of my games are on PlayStation. But the Switch, I mean, that thing compared to the Switch One, it's night and day difference in performance. I mean, night and day difference. The way it runs Donkey Kong with all the particle effects, that's the shit that I've only seen on a console before. You don't even see that on PS4, right? So the Switch 2 is a little powerful thingy. It's not the most powerful, absolutely
For
not,
something
but
you can bring along with you, it's pretty damn good.
it is pretty fucking powerful. Especially with Donkey Kong, you can fucking literally dig a hole straight down to the other side of the earth, right? Which is insane. But the affordability compared to PC, I just don't think it's there. And if we go back to the game environment is stable, fuck you mean? PS Network just went down last week. Fucking accounts are still getting hacked. People are still losing their accounts. Fucking people in the video game industry are still getting laid off. The studios are still closing down. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. So I literally can hit a negative point or negative points in every single one of these. One of the things that I always gave PlayStation props for the curated content was JRPGs. Guess what? Tokyo's or Kyoto Xanadu is a game that I really want to play, and I will only be able to play it on PC as of right now, which just released last week. So the
It'll come
point
to Switch.
it will, I mean, it'll come to both PlayStation and Switch, but the point is that before I used to say that's a strong point of PlayStation is those JRPGs. But when I really look at the landscape, the JRPGs are over on Nintendo and PC. They're getting shit that PlayStation couldn't even dream of. Now, yes, PlayStation is still getting some, but remember, Japan is not PlayStation's number one market like it is Nintendo's. So when we look at every single point that she hits, there's not just little cracks, there's big cracks in what she is saying. I also theorize that the PS5 will be the last console gen that sells over 100 million consoles. And I'll ask you, preacher, what you think about that. I think the PS5 will be the last generation that they do sell 100 million. The PS6 will not reach those numbers ever again, and I think the max they'll do is 80. What do you think about those sales numbers for the PS6, preacher?
um I think a couple of things. I think going back to the security, I
Mm.
think you're right. Whereas the digital ecosystem for PlayStation, which is what I
And it's
wish
not just
the
PlayStation,
physical
FYI.
games.
It's
Yeah,
also,
no,
you
no,
know,
but I would. Yeah, for the consoles in general, for all of the
mhm,
consoles in general, the digital ecosystems are below par,
yeah.
right? And that's what I wish that the people who put their energy into the physical discs backlash, which they were never going to reverse course on. The proper thing to be looking for was always digital rights. You know what I mean? And asking them to build out their digital ecosystem in a way that can make people comfortable with actually going forward with a full, because even though I accept that this is happening, there's no question that PlayStation's digital ecosystem is not ready for this kind of thing. And that showed with the outage, and it shows with the way that they handle purchases and a bunch of stuff.
You
Now,
know
I
why
think people
people
saying that they're gonna jack up the price is crazy because I think they always have a ton of sales. I expect things like that to continue because that's how they make their money. You know what I mean? I don't think that it's all of a sudden going to become Nazi Germany once they take the disk drive away. I think that kind of fear is overplayed. But just really quick, while we have this, you said the security was like the third tenant versus
Well, technically, it
PC,
was the
and I
second
think,
one.
oh, sorry about that. Yeah, the second one. But what I think what she means by that is like your game security, right? So if you look at something like something recent, like the Black Ops ports, right? The big draw of that, and the reason why like Xbox guys are very upset about it, they have a version of Black Ops 1 and 2, right? They've been had it, right? The thing is, it's overrun with hackers, same on PC, right? Not so much on PlayStation. Now they had an incident on PlayStation, but the reason people are looking for that version was because it's harder to hack. It's harder to hack games on console. It's not impossible. It is
Hmm.
not impossible, but it's much harder. And that's the kind of security that you're paying for. You know what I mean? And that's why things like that have, what is it, anti-cheat don't even show up on things like Steam, right? So Warzone, Valorant, big games, you know what I mean? But if they have that kind of technology, they don't show up on Steam,
Yeah,
right? Now, if you have a PC and you don't mind, getting the launcher and all of that, that's not a big deal to you. But you do pay for a certain level of security
it's a close
with a
ecosystem.
PlayStation. You know what I mean? Exactly. So you have that barrier, and for people who play primarily online, that is going to be something that's worth looking into because if not, if you buy a PC, let's say you're a primarily Call of Duty player, right? And then you said, fuck PlayStation, right? I'm going to go buy a PC. And then you start playing all these Call of Duty games and you're fighting nothing but hackers all day, you're going to have a bad time. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? That's not going to be the experience that you're looking for. And it's a markedly different experience than what you have on PC. So I think that's what she meant by that.
Could be.
Um,
That brings up a
I
good point.
or that's what I took from it. That's what I
Yeah.
took from it at least. And that's what I take from it because I'm a technician. I work with computers and network systems
Hmm.
all day long for work, right? I'm not confused about PCs. I have a PC, you know what I mean? But I prefer to use my PlayStation because, for one, it's easier. You know what I mean? The ease of use and the ease of things as they are. You know what I mean? You're not playing with a bunch of settings. You're not playing with a bunch of drivers. I turned on my, PC the other day, and I had to do 5 minutes of Windows updates. By that time, I was like, "Fuck it! I don't even want to play the games anymore." You know what I mean? Stuff like that doesn't really happen on PlayStation unless it's with like or consoles unless it's with like
Yeah,
individual
or you have
games.
some fucking kind of problem and you're like, I don't know what this is. I don't even know what kind of fucking thing you want me to
Right.
do. I don't give a
Yeah, and
shit. Like, I don't work with
yeah.
computers. I don't want to deal with this shit.
But dude,
I
you
don't
know
even like
I
what?
use
work with
computers at work.
computers and I don't want to deal with it. You know what I
That
mean?
is a
Exactly.
So
pain in
I
the
can
ass.
only imagine for the layman. You know
But
what I mean? That's gonna
also
be
with this shit,
Mhm.
like I've had my PC now. What month are we in? Month 8. So I've had my PC now for month 9. You know why I don't get these fucking problems? Because I use my computer for Steam. That's it. I use it for Steam when I do use it, or maybe YouTube, and I stream here now. That's it. I'm not clicking fucking links. I'm not, shopping online. I'm not going through all these other websites, all these cookies and all this bullshit. People do use their PCs for a lot of fucking different shit. But if you get yourself a little fucking just, this is going to be my gaming PC, you really cut down on a lot of these fucking problems. My work computer, same shit. I only use it for work. So therefore, I never have those fucking problems. There's an update from Windows, I update it. My IT department sends me an update, I update it, and I keep it fucking moving. Sometimes my email doesn't work, sometimes this, but that's more internal shit that happens unless there's a blackout from Microsoft, which once again is no different than PlayStation having PSN network issues, which happen at least 2-3 times a fucking year. So it's all about how you use it and how you prepare yourself. For the layman, it's the same shit with consoles, it's the same shit with fucking PCs, the same shit everywhere. With console, you're not going to come across it in general as often because it is a closed ecosystem. You can't even access the fucking web browser, which limits a lot of the fucking problems that you can have. But there's still ways around it. But the thing I want to go back to some preacher was saying was in regards to the fuck, I lost it. Damn it. Hold on, let me check
I'd
the
be over here
chat real
gathering.
quick. Uh oh, why people are not fighting for digital rights. The reason people are not fighting for digital rights is because we're never going to get those digital rights. It's the same exact reason of why they're getting rid of physical. It's for control.
See,
They just
yeah, I disagree with that. I
they're never
disagree
going
with
to give
that.
it
I
to
think
us.
that in the same way that people were fighting for physical discs and and I saw that as futile,
Well, let me ask you,
I
what do
think
you
I'm
mean
on
by
the
digital
opposite
rights?
side with this.
Because that's the question.
I
What do you mean by
believe
that?
I believe that we should be entitled, first of all, to a better return policy from
Hmm.
PlayStation. I believe that we should be able to own our rights in some capacity, own the rights to our games in some capacity.
That part will never
Now,
get.
because it's not a PC,
Hmm.
you can't do what someone like GOG does, which gives you access to the exe file
Yeah.
and you can send it out and do whatever you want. Like you're never going to have that on PlayStation, right? But they need to give you some sort of guarantee to your licenses in perpetuity.
They
But
haven't done it for movies.
then
They're not going to do it for games.
that has to then, well, this is the thing. We are in a more movies and music and video games are now more digital than ever. So I think it's only a matter of time before the law catches up with some of this stuff. You know what I mean? You got to think the people growing up in this age will be politicians at some point. So it might not be today. You know what I
Well,
mean?
we
But
just had
really,
Stop Killing Games
10
fight
years down the line, they
fight.
almost got over.
They almost,
They
but you know
almost
why
got
they
over.
didn't?
It was
Because one person, the industry
right,
sent their fucking guys out there, their fucking
the lobbyists.
cheerleaders, the
Yeah.
lobbyists, and they, and this was last minute, right? Because Stop Killing Games started this shit not even a year ago, and they got this far,
Right.
which is awesome,
It was
right?
slapdash almost. It was
Yes,
slapdash almost. Yeah. And that's
exactly.
what I mean. You
But
look at that movement 5, 10 years down the line. And I can't believe that there won't be any
But with
sort of
more
digital right.
preparedness, nah, these guys have too much money in politics. Just like insider trading will never go away for politicians, they will always be able to buy stocks. There's just too much money involved, and the video game industry is the biggest entertainment industry in the world, and that is why I don't think it will ever happen. These people, the license itself, like, I just don't see it. The return policy, yeah, I can definitely see PlayStation change it up, to appease us, right? They'll appease us with that. That's just going to be crumbs. I don't think they'll ever give us anything past that because at the end of the day, PlayStation is a corporation just like they all are, and they want as much control over their product as possible. That's why Nintendo Switch can break your console. That's why PlayStation can fucking block your account, suspend your account, you lose all your shit. Same thing with Xbox, same thing with Steam. The only difference is that we don't see them taking those actions on PlayStation and Steam and Xbox like we do on Nintendo currently. Currently. But when there is no safe, the thing with physical is physical has always been your backup, right? Worst case scenario, you don't like what's happening, you can just say fuck you to the internet, go buy your games physical and never have to worry about the internet ever again. That's going away. So when your only safekeeping now is okay, GOG, which they don't even get most games, and the ones that they do get, a lot of them times it's not even day one. Steam. Okay, what about when fucking the Gabe dies or sells the company or whatever? What you think some group ain't gonna come in here with fucking $1 trillion and buy that motherfucker outright? What do you think they're gonna
Yeah, all
fucking do?
contracts that were previous are now null and void.
And we see this. I mean, PlayStation can't even hold on to a license agreement with a fucking publisher in movies for more than fucking a couple years, any fucking ways. And it's not just PlayStation. We see it
Agreed.
with Amazon, with Kindle. I mean, we've seen it with so many fucking things. Everybody who bought the 4K Blu-ray of every Marvel movie and then they got the digital copy free. Guess what? Those have went away. And if they didn't go away, they have organized them in a specific way that makes it very difficult for you to find them on YouTube. They used to give the codes for your digital copy to be redeemed on YouTube. You can still get it. It's just you have to go about the backward ass way and take extra steps in order to find it. Most people don't have the patience because they'll be like, you know what, the movie's fucking $10, $15. I'll just buy it again, whatever. With games, it's completely different because you're spending $70. As far as the price thing goes, the price thing with PlayStation, with people saying they're going to increase the price, it's not that they're going to change it. It's already been that way. Sales do happen all the time, absolutely. But it's the time that you have to wait for these sales. With a physical game, it comes out today. I can get it on discount maybe today. Maybe today. Just depends how many fucking dumbass people buy it and trade it in right away. Otherwise, within the week, I'll be able to save $10 automatically. With physical, that will not happen. You're gonna have to wait your 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months before you see those discounts. Now, in the long run, of course, digital wins with the discounts because these games are normally way past their fucking time of their sales window. So then they'll put it out for $2, $3. Physical will never be able to compete with that. The $5 bundles or bins that we used to see at Walmart and Best Buy and GameStop, those have been a thing of the past like 10 years ago. You don't see that
Yeah,
shit
I haven't seen
anymore.
one of those
But
in years.
physic or digital has been winning on that forever. And that's how I got majority of my digital library is by getting those games that have been available for 5 6 years. They're finally down to $3 4 $5 $7 $10 for the complete edition. I'll bite right there, right? But the first year is the part that the digital gamer doesn't seem to understand on how much is going to affect them. PlayStation is going to
Well,
make
look at
30% automatically increase by not having to share the money with the retailers. And now they're going to take even longer to come up with these discounts because they don't have to. Where else are you going to go?
I think the problem is I think ultimately the problem with this entire thing is that PlayStation didn't give anybody anything to hold on to. You know what I mean? We can
Oh,
see
yeah.
all the ways that this benefits PlayStation,
Yeah.
right? They're going to make more money digitally. They're going to have more control of their
Mm-hmm.
ecosystem, and they're literally taking something away from you, right?
Yep.
What are you getting out of that? Nothing, right? Nothing that you could see, right? Nothing that's in front of your face that you can say, okay, at least we're good. And that's just what it is, right? And then when you voice that concern, PlayStation returns with a fuck you, we don't care. Right? That is a problem. That's definitely a problem. But I think when we look at the like situation that we're in, it's a problem that we have already sort of ascribed to. You know what I mean? That most people are already in this ecosystem where this is happening. You know what I mean? So I don't that's the huge thing is that this has already happened.
Well, it's
I
like,
feel like because and then when you look at and then if we're talking about sales and like how they're going to manage that front, sales in the price of these products are based on the publishers. You know what I mean? So if publishers start to take more advantage of people, then you have to take that at a publisher by publisher
well,
base.
it's a
For
little bit of
example,
both, right? Because PlayStation says we're going to have this sale happening. Who's going to be part of it? So, yeah, the publisher
yeah,
is in charge of the pricing, but PlayStation is the one constantly putting up sales, constantly saying, hey, publishers, we're having a sale. So, whether a publisher wants to opt in or out is up to them, but they know that if they opt out, their visibility is going to go down. But, real quick, before I forget this, a couple weeks ago, I was on the Thrifty podcast, and shout out to Thrifty, and this is in regards to what Preacher said, that it's always take take take, and it's been that way. And I think physical is just accumulation of all of it. It's always been take 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 with PlayStation this console generation. When they had to increase the fucking price for the console, it's a take. It's always them. Even though they're not subsidizing their console, even though they're making more money than ever in history, even though they have all these things going for them, it's never, let's give the gamers a break. When's the last time they gave us a fucking month of PS Plus for free because they had to increase pricing on the console? When's the last time that they fucking, when the PS5 Pro came out, that was my biggest thing. I'm like, so you're telling me I got to pay $700, then I got to pay 80 for the disc drive, then I got to pay 30 for the fucking stand. How about you just give me a bundle with all of it all for $7.99 and just save me $10? Just give
supposed to
me
be the
that.
professional version. How are you
You
not
know,
giving? How am I
j-
buying it piecemeal? How is this
exactly.
professional?
That was
You
that was
know
my
what I
biggest
mean?
argument. It's like, bro, just give me a little crumb. Just say, hey, we're gonna save you $10 if you bundle it all together. But no, you fucking nickel and dime us every single fucking time. So why the fuck would I think that now it's like we're gonna change the shit later, guys. But first you have to sign up. No, that's not how it fucking works, because every single opportunity that you get, you take from us. PS Stars, you took from us. You saw that people were getting some real fucking benefits from that. Even I started buying more digital because there was something I was getting in return, and they took that shit away from us. Every little thing that benefits the gamers, it's takeaway, takeaway, takeaway. It's never a fucking give. Not even, like I said, a little bundle, $10 will save you. They can't even do that. And that's why when PlayStation said we're gonna kill physical, nobody cares about physical. It's just another fucking thing. And because
You know what got me to start buying fucking physical again? Fucking when they took my goddamn rewards.
yeah, I remember
I
Yeah,
that.
spent
shout out to
fucking
Stars.
I spent like fucking $5,000 so I get $200 back. They didn't make enough money apparently, so they gotta take that too. Like,
Yeah.
man, get the
Insane.
fuck
I,
out of here.
like
Insane.
I'm
I was
over
sick when they
PlayStation,
took
bro.
that.
I'm over PlayStation. I really have been. I honestly cannot wait for this console generation. And the way that I've been looking at my collection, my physical game collection, is kind of like a husband who's been married for 30 years and the dick don't get hard no more because he's used to seeing the wife, after 30 years and fucking, and all of a sudden he wakes up and he's like, you know what? I am blessed. My wife is a bad bitch. I don't care if she got a little bit of weight on her. I don't care that she got the scars. These are battle scars. I'm in love with my wife all over again. That's how I feel about my collection right now. I took it for granted for so long. Man, I got over 800 physical games. I'm even playing JRPG, something I've never played before. I am playing it. I am enjoying gaming. I am in love with gaming all over again. And it's all thanks to PlayStation. And I cannot wait to they get the fuck up out of here. Stop being a fucking succubus to my pocket. I already canceled my PS Plus. That's another $100 and some that I don't have to pay to their ass every year just so I can play with my friends. Sorry, guys. If you want to play, we can get the game on Nintendo. We can get the game on Steam. We'll do crossplay that way. If not, I don't give a fuck about that either. I'm saving so much by PlayStation saying, you know what? We don't want your money anymore. Thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, it sucks. I'm not happy about it. I'm going to miss out on new games. Well, some new games because you can get most games everywhere any fucking way. I'm going to miss on the PlayStation first party titles and whatever exclusives they get. Boo-hoo. I'm a grown ass adult. I'll deal with it. I'll mourn for a week and then I'll fucking move on.
Yeah, and I think that's the determination and what Nelson is doing as well, going back to retro gaming. You know what I mean? I think that's the determination and the thing that you have to do if these things are an issue for you. You know what I mean? It's the only thing that they're going to listen to. And I think that's the thing that most people will not do. You know what I mean? I think you guys will do it for sure. You know what I mean? And I think you're right to do it. And there's a wealth of gaming out there. You know what I mean? PlayStation is far from the only option. You know what I mean? You can go to Xbox. Xbox gets, at least the third
For
party
how much
games. You
longer
know what
though?
I
Like
mean?
really?
Yeah, for how much longer is
I
the
couldn't even
question.
everyone's like, oh, if they had a disc thing or whatever, and they actually made a console next gen, I'm like, I honestly don't even trust them to be
Well,
around for.
I have the thing about Xbox right here.
You know
This
what
is
I
from
mean?
Game Rat. Says insider claim Xbox could eventually leave one particular platform, and they are talking about Steam. Like, okay, look, people keep talking about Xbox like it's a savior, right? Like they're gonna continue with physical, which remember, Xbox physical is way different than PlayStation physical. PlayStation touches every single physical that goes on its platform. Xbox does not. But let's just say they fucking do. Why would Xbox all of a sudden make the right decisions now, but couldn't make right decisions consecutively or any at all that I can think of over the last 15 years? It doesn't equate. You think that they're going to change,
Wait until your fan base is completely evaporated, then
then change
shift.
what you're going to fucking, and look, I'm going to be real with you. This is Xbox opportunity right here to step up. They can easily move to the digital rights and bring digital people over. They can move on physical games and bring physical gamers over. They really have an opportunity to at least try to bounce back, but they have to do it right. The problem that I have with this is they're on the cusp of their next console generation or whatever hardware. I don't want to say console because who the fuck knows what it is. It is way
And they
too
went
late
from
in the
80 million to
game,
60 million to 40 million to what? Like
way too late in the game for them to
you're
change anything
10 years too late.
meaningful on that fucking thing. Okay. So, what can they actually do? They can give you a disk drive that can do what PlayStation has been doing and what Xbox has been doing, where they read the license on your disc and then they give you the most updated version of that game digitally, right? They can do that, right? But I also think PlayStation at some point will end up doing that too for backwards compatibility. I think that's what they'll end up doing for concessions because guess what? Gamers aren't the only one bitching. There's retailers all over the world. There's billions of dollars at stake that they have to fucking figure out. No business wants to lose money. This quarter, they did $128 million in physical alone. That's that's not even a rounding error for PlayStation. That's like a tip for PlayStation on a dinner date. All right, but it's still $128 million. That is still millions of dollars that they can divvy up between the top 10 fucking of their upper management team as bonus payout, and they don't have to dig in the coffers to pay that money out. So it's still significant. So there are going to come with some concessions eventually, and they'll probably do it within the next year. Probably 6 months to 8 months before they announce a new console, or even sometime in between that. Or if they notice there's a big drop during the PS6 gen at the beginning, they may do a concession. Well, they'll say, hey, buy this Blu-ray, then you'll be able to play your PS5, PS4 games and whatever. So they'll do something. But that's it. You're not going to get any more new games. They're completely done with that. And I'm just saying this is best case scenario for PlayStation. I'm not saying they will do. What I really think they'll do is they'll do nothing. But base case scenario is they'll have some sort of concession. Then with the whole digital shit, they may give us an hour refund policy. They may change it from, instead of an instant download, cancel, no more refund, to you get an hour of gameplay to decide if you want the game, which even that I think is rich for them, that they're going to struggle to give people that. But as far as physical ownership, they're not going to do it. There's just too much control, too much money, and too much of license renewals. These games have music. There's a lot of different departments. It's just easier to have physical at that point. If they're going to give you digital rights for your games, it's just cheaper to keep physical. It's just cheaper to do it that way. But Preacher, you said you had to go. I don't want to keep you if you have to go. Let me know if you can stay. We'll move on to the next topic. It's up to you.
No, no, I can get a couple in the next one. Appreciate you.
All right, bro. Um, you're taking off or you staying?
No, no, I'll stay
Okay,
for
cool, cool.
another 30.
We're
Yeah.
gonna wrap up here shortly, anyways. But speaking of Xbox, I don't think they're gonna be the savior. They just increased prices in Europe, which is a little bit different of what PlayStation is doing. PlayStation during the Q&A also said that they have enough chips and materials for the next year, so we should not see an increase in price because they just told us they have enough materials to build PlayStation 5s. So if we do see a price increase, that's just another fucking thing that we see from them, of them fucking the gamers. Once again, they're not hurting for money. They obviously have enough materials to keep building. Hardware sales are going down, they're not going up. So technically, they should have more of an abundance to keep building. So that's something to keep an eye out. Um, Moving on real quick, bro. It's the Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade 2 actually is going through a ton of backlash this week. And that's because Stellar Blade Blood Rain developer angers fan with a new AI video. And basically, here it is. They released a music video promo where it's all made of AI. Let me show you a little clip of it. And then at the end of this clip, they show, like Sony cameras recording this, like right here, all AI. All this is AI. You know what I mean? The crew's AI, the camera, the microphone, all these people's AI, everything is AI, right? So a lot of gamers are pissed off on social media and just talking shit and clowning them. And it says here the official video titled Wanna Be in Love featuring Evie is a roughly 3.5 minute K-pop style production centered on Evie singing and dancing in a city resembling the environment revealed in Stellar Blade Blood Rain. But let's move on. Rather than increasing excitement for the game, however, shift up unusual promotional material for Stellar Blade Blood Rain has drawn widespread criticism for its use of generative AI. This also isn't the first time Stellar Blade has generated some controversy. The first comment underneath the video is one user simply responding, "Are we dead ass?" Jesus Christ. With 4,000 likes at the time of the writing, other fans have accused Shift Up of releasing AI slop and question why a studio known for its detailed character design would use generative technology in its marketing, thereby undermining the work of human artists and programmers. Of course, not every response was negative. A smaller group of viewers have found the video amusing, enjoyed the song despite the controversy. That's all I'm going to read from there. But another thing that I'll say real quick before I ask Preacher this question is, so people were going against this AI bullshit right? But then they started with the attacks again on how young she looks and how unrealistic body shape, and now they're just adding more, gas to the flame here. Preacher, what do you think of this whole freaking situation with this AI video and what Shift Up is doing with this marketing?
Um, so I have always had a bit of a controversial opinion on AI, because I don't think it's that deep. I think that it is a technology. I look at AI like a tool. You know what I mean? It is like a hammer, it is like a screwdriver, it is a tool. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised that when developers started using it, you know what I mean? People have a lot of hardline stances against AI use. I do not hold those kinds of I don't want to say hang-ups, but I don't have that kind of you know what I mean, distaste for AI. I think if you use it correctly, and I think now for the video specifically, just I've only seen what you just showed me. It looked all right, whatever, but you can tell it's AI, and I think that's kind of, well, I mean, like it looks better than the regular kind of AI, like quote unquote flop, but
Well, in the end, if you know,
you pretty
well,
much tell.
if you watch it, there's a couple parts where like some dude's folding his arm and like one arm melts into the other, and like there's little AI
Yeah.
things in there. But Nelson, what do you think about this?
I don't know how I feel about the East using it, but the West definitely needs it. That's for goddamn sure. They suck at writing.
So I don't give a
They can't
fuck.
be any worse than fucking these California people fucking
I really don't
writing
care
stories.
about
Like, let's
AI.
go AI, baby, let's go.
Yeah, like I don't fucking
Yeah, let's
care.
fix
My
it.
my whole thing is it good or not? But the irony in all this is that Eve, they're fucking AI.
Right.
To me,
You're
it's
mad at them
so
using AI and AI.
exactly. To
That's
me, this is so on brand with the game. This is so on brand with the universe they've created. Like to me, this makes sense that they would use AI to make a fucking music video for an AI world with a super intelligent AI creating these fucking AI robots. You know what I mean? So I think it's just
yeah.
people finding this. Like, yeah, I know that I understand. And once again, I don't want to dismiss the opportunities that AI is taking away from people, right? But the way that I view AI, like Preacher, is a tool, but also how are you going to reinvent yourself as a valuable member of society? There's always going to be some sort of technology. There's always going to fuck technology. There's always going to be somebody who's going to try to do your job better than you, faster than you, and cheaper than you. All right. That is what our country, the United States of America, is literally founded on capitalism. Who can do it better? Who can do it faster? You know what I mean? AI is just
Who can
another
do it
one of those
cheaper?
things. Who could do it cheaper? So how are you going to make yourself valuable to compete against something like AI? How can you create another opportunity, right? Yeah, it sucks that people are getting laid off. I'm in my job that I do right now. I'm like the highest risk in the company of getting replaced by AI. You know what I mean? So every day when I go to work, I'm constantly looking at ways on how can I make myself more valuable than having some fucking grok that comes in and does my job for me for 30 bucks a month. You know what I mean? So I think that people are just using this as a way to just continue with the attacks that they've always have with Shift Up, especially the way that they do their character designs. Um, they're seeing an opportunity to just attack them for something else, kind of like what Preacher was saying earlier on, where people are always going to find something to bitch about, and this is just another one of those things. But who fucking cares, bro? Like, let me know what the release date is. That's what I want to fucking know. Show me fucking
Yeah,
gameplay.
for
That's what
real.
I want to fucking know. You know what I mean? Don't ask me to pre-order something a
What's the
year.
time on this?
Let me see some
Exactly.
titty physics.
Let me see some titty fit. Let me see
Yeah.
how did you improve the jiggle physics from the last game. That's what I want to fucking know. Um, moving on. Sony. Never mind. We already talked about that. There was another thing I wanted to bring up here.
I do think she look a little young. I will say, I think she look a little. Now that's just because
Like how
I got
young?
a proclivity. I mean, like for me, like I said, I'm an old school anime head, so it would make sense that she's like high school age type situation. You know what I mean? That wouldn't even be like a.
To me,
But
she
it's
looks like
just the
early
way that they
20s.
specific, and she could be early 20s. Well, I'm sure we all know girls who just like look small and like
Oh
young
yeah, yeah.
for a
Asians are
while.
always
You know
tiny,
what I
anyways.
mean? But I just think that they could. I don't know. I'm just sick of the. I don't know why we always have to have so many damn young people, too many kids running around here. How about we get
Because we're
some grown?
old. We're getting
Nah,
old.
Nobody want to be
yeah,
old. We're just
yeah,
close to the expiration, dude.
Well, bro,
yeah,
that's my
exactly.
biggest
Because people don't
complaint.
want to be offended.
That's
That's
my
my
biggest
biggest
complaint.
complaint about being old.
That's my biggest complaint with anime. Like, I love romance, but guess what? 90% of the romance on fucking Crunchyroll is fucking like high school shit. It's like, bro, can we
Yeah,
get
but
like
how do
some
you?
workplace? Can we get like some, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Can we get some,
coming home from work and we beefing. I
yeah,
don't really, you
yeah,
know what I
like
mean?
how they gonna overcome that? You know what I mean? How they gonna come the wife
Yeah.
going on a girls' night and fucking rubbing her ass up on the fucking bartender's dick? Like,
Now
shit.
and now you hear how do you
How do
anime
you handle
trigger your
that?
way out of this
You
situation?
know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
want to
you know what I
fucking
mean?
watch this fucking 15-year-old boy Ishki. Like,
Yeah, no,
like,
exactly,
like,
exactly.
so I
And that's
get
what
it.
I'm saying. Yeah, that's my only thing. And I'm gonna play the game because oh my gosh, she got the hands. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir. I'm all about that. I play monk class and all of my stuff. I'm a huge Tekken head, so I'm gonna play the game, but I definitely would have preferred a like 30-year-old Android Android as opposed to whatever it is we seem to be getting on in here.
Yeah.
But
I
the AI
always do.
thing, I think it's definitely over.
Yeah. Yeah, I always do. You know, like I literally made a video about, and I haven't posted it. I think I'm gonna delete it, maybe redo it, or maybe not. Cause I in my channel, I hardly ever talk about like shit that I dislike. I'll clown on live service games just because I don't really play them too much, and I also clown on Souls games because I suck at them. So instead of saying I suck,
Oh,
I
another
just say
Souls
that
guy.
Souls suck. You know what I mean? But everybody who knows me knows it's just because I'm trash. So therefore, I don't like them. But the video that I kind of recorded that did half-ass were things that I don't like about gamers, and one of them was talking shit about shit that they're not even involved with in gaming. For example, I bought Gollum, Lords of the Ring Golems. I played it, I beat it. All right. Uh Dustborn. I bought it, I played a couple hours, I dropped it. Mind's Eye. I played it, I beat it twice, and got the platinum. So when I hear somebody say that Mind's Eye is the worst game ever, and I'm like, so you just forgot about Gollum a couple of years ago because that game was complete fucking dog shit. But we get a lot of this where gamers are just constantly inputting their opinions in on shit that they know nothing about and nothing that they're even willing to give a chance. Not saying that you have to play a game to know if something's good or not, because we all been gaming for decades by now. Some of us been gaming for 3, 4 decades. All you got to see is a 2, 3 minute video, and you already know if you're going to be interested in this game or not. You already know this game looks like it's going to suck because we have a ton of experience. I get that. But when you start to get into details that you know nothing about, that you just heard some other asshole who didn't play the fucking
Yeah,
game talk about, it's like, what are we doing here,
yep.
bro? And for what?
Regurgitating, bro. I'm telling you. Oh yeah, nah. I was just gonna say that's what radicalized me, man. You need to drop that video because 100%, bro. I remember. I'll never forget. I'll never ever forget, bro. That when they dropped the Forspoken demo, and I played. Had no interest in that game. Then I actually played it, loved it. Played 50 hours of the demo. Then when the game came out, everybody was already talking shit, right? And I'm like, okay, well, when the reviews drop, actual reviewers are going to talk about the actual gameplay instead of the like cringy dialogue. And this game is going to get good reviews, and people are going to shut up. No, they all only talked about the cringy dialogue. And so the
Hmm.
people who were just talking shit about the game were reaffirmed. And now Forspoken goes down as a trash game. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Another game, Concord, is now considered the worst game of this generation, which is
Like
unbelievable
Gollum
with
don't
the
exist.
amount of bad games. Like Redfall doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
so many other bad games don't exist. Concord was a fine game. People didn't like the character designs, but that was all that was wrong with that game. But because Sony smoked it after 2 weeks, the narrative lives on long past the
Hmm.
game, and nobody
Hmm.
gets
Yeah,
to
if it wouldn't have been
rewrite
for the
that. You know
characters,
what
I
I
would have
mean?
actually played that game.
Yeah,
The
and
game was great.
the
I
game was
enjoyed the
good.
game. I had 70 hours in it in like 2 weeks. I don't even play first person shooters, but it was fun. It like controlled well. The graphics were beautiful. The
Oh, it had
maps
that
were
Sony
fun.
polish. It had that Sony first
It,
party
it
polish on it.
really, really did. It really, really
Yeah.
did. And that's why none of the trash, like the trashing online made no sense.
No.
And we seen the numbers, right? Nobody was playing that game. And yet people will confidently tell me who
Hmm.
has 70 hours in it how bad it is and all
Yep.
the bad things about it. And it's only ever the character design,
Yep.
and that
Yeah,
I guess it was uninspired, and people are like it was an
bro.
Overwatch game.
So
There's
annoying.
somebody who has hundred of hours in Overwatch. It was
So
nothing
annoying.
like Overwatch.
So annoying.
So
Just in the last 2 months alone,
yeah,
I've beaten 8 games, and each of those games were 30 hours plus, actually 25 hours plus, and one of them was a 100-hour game. Most of the games that I beat in the last 2 months were 30, 35 hours long. Previous months, I beat 10, 12 games when they're shorter, 10, 12 hours long. I beat anywhere between 60 to 100 games a year. And somebody like me who beats that many fucking games a year, you still don't hear me say outside once again of Souls or live service just because I don't play those. And I'm joking when I say that. In reality, it's because I suck. I don't talk shit about these games. I always look for something positive. People say, well, how do you have so many games in your collection or your collection sucks ass? It's like, no, bro. It's because I look for a reason to enjoy something. A game doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to like every single thing about a game. If that's how you play, no wonder all you play is Call of Duty. And even then, I'm wondering why you're playing it because the quality goes down every fucking year. So you contradict your own damn self by saying, no, I only play these couple games because they're the ones that I like from top to bottom. Well, how the fuck is that
You know what I'm
possible if
playing
they
right
go down
now?
every year?
I'm playing Sun and Bone.
I beat that game. I got the platinum in that game. Actually, no, I don't have the platinum, but I beat that game. Yeah, man, I'm
Skull and
willing to
Bones.
take. Yeah, it's made
Oh
by a
shit.
small indie team. But I'm
Yeah,
willing to
small.
take super small. I'm willing to take risk with games, and I you will never hear me talk negative about a game unless I played it. Unless it's superficial shit like I saw in the trailer. Yeah, I don't rock with this, but even then, that's pretty rare. You don't see me. So how is that possible? Where somebody plays 5 games a year, but yeah, they're chronically online talking shit about games, but yet people who are actually out here putting in the hours are the ones talking the least amount of negativity on the games. People like that are generally talking more about the business side. Oh, I don't like that Xbox did this or PlayStation did that or we should get this. They're not talking negative about games itself. But now that we got that out the way, let's talk real quick about the next upcoming game real quick before we wrap it up, and that is Beast of Reincarnation. That's the next big release that's dropping this week, and Tuesday to be specific. So day after tomorrow. It is made by
Actually,
uh,
I think it's dropping tomorrow. Funny you say that, bro. I'm looking at the thing right now. I thought it was also dropping the fourth. I just happened to look it up, but I seen it on Steam and they said it was dropping the third. And so I turned on the PlayStation to look, and yeah, it says right here that it's dropping the third. So
it'll say the third
if
because it'll
this is
drop
right,
at like 11 o'clock so if you're central, it'll do
oh,
11 o'clock at night, but it's midnight
bro, that's
Eastern.
man,
But you know something that Xbox
man.
does that is really cool is their midnight for a lot of their games is 7 p.m. Central.
Oh
So by
wow, so
eight
they get it
o'clock,
earlier than that.
yeah. So for example, I did that with not just the Master Chief, but what else? A couple games. I was able to play them Monday at 7 o'clock when the game was supposed to release on Tuesday. So that's a cool thing about Xbox that they give you those few hours of you know, I just wish they
Yeah,
released the
that's
game when it's
huge.
done. It's like, bro, if your game is fucking done and the release date's Thursday, just release it Tuesday or Monday. Like, who fucking cares, bro?
It
But
would be
hey, they
more
do it for
exciting.
business purposes, so they can count the weeks and count the units sold and shit like that. So I get it. But this game is made by the Nintendo people, the not the Nintendo people, the Pokemon people, and it's getting a lot of good people talking good about it. They're saying the gameplay's addicting. The gameplay's pretty dope. It's different. Is this a game that anybody here is interested in picking up except for me?
I'm
I
not picking
am.
up
I
a lot of
was
shit for a while because I'm fucking broke now.
Yeah, they had to take my man the ass out of the forest, the ass out the escape. So Lord knows. But nah,
Yeah,
I'm
I was
looking
like,
at it,
oh, it'll
man.
probably be like $500. Like, nah. They're like, it's gonna take like 2 days. Fucking
Do you think
for
you'll
two
pick it
grand.
up
Like, fuck.
day one, preacher, or do you think you'll get it later on?
Um, I need to see reviews. I actually haven't looked at too much of it. I seen like a couple of the trailers, like one or two trailers, so I have a general understanding. But I really want to see how is it like top to bottom. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna wait for the reviews to come out, and if it's decent, I might go for it. But then Tokon is also this week. You know what I mean? So if I do go for it, it'll certainly be a splurge. And I would have to look at what is coming soon after. I because September is right around the corner, but there is a couple things in August.
Yeah, we have
Entropy comes out.
we have here. I'll go over the list with you.
The only
So
thing
Beast of
I might splurge
Reincarnation,
on, I might get Aliens Fire Team.
that's not till
Oh, there you
October.
go.
Oh,
Um
that's good for me.
Beast of Reincarnation, Marvel Tocom, Hell Let Loose Vietnam, Madden, Scott Pilgrim, JDM Japanese Drift Master, Blood Refreshed, LC, Mortal Shell 2, which is Bakery, Super Bomberman, Agelos, Brigadine Abyss, Deluxe, Luna Abyss, Resonance, A Plague's Tale, Metal Gear Solid Master Volume 2,
Mm,
Star
yeah,
Wars
I
Zero
see that.
Company, Captain Tsubasa 2, Little Kitty Big City, Faith the Unholy Trinity, Wonder Stop, Blood of, and that's it. That's the last game of or at least I'm reading a physical list. I'm sure there's more games digital that are dropping, but I just have a physical list in front of me because that's all I care about. As far as September, right away starts off with September 3rd, Marsupilami 2, Until Then, Onimusha, Coffee Talk Tokyo, and that's all the fourth, between the 3rd and the 4th of September. So two big AAA games and a whole bunch of small stuff already just in the first couple days. Then after that, we have Cul-de-sac, Hot Wheels Infinite Rush, Legend of Heroes, Call of Elder Gods, NHL, Marvel Wolverine, Grime 2, Zenless Zone Zero, which is just getting a physical copy. Another all digital
That's
game that
what's
gets physical. It's crazy how nobody wants physical, but yet
yeah.
these digital publishers keep putting fucking their digital game on physical. Uh,
Isn't that a free
Trails,
game too? Like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
but you get
Yeah,
like
it's
a
free.
statue, you get some other, and you get a whole bunch of like in game currency and stuff like that.
They got physical Fortnite. You buy
Yeah.
a physical version of Fortnite.
Oh, they bro, everything that's that's physical, that's basically AAA and up will get a physical. It's rare that they only do a digital only release. You know why? Because there's markets that are still more than half physical. Japan is one of them. How do you think the Japanese gamers feeling right now with PlayStation saying they're going physical or getting rid of
I
physical?
don't know why they would do this in a time where they say they're trying to get back with
Exactly.
physical. Honestly, I just think PlayStation has completely lost the plot in how to
Yeah,
be
they
able to
did.
talk to the community.
They
Like
did.
while I definitely believe that this stuff is working out for them in ways, and I don't think they're going to be super affected in the long run. Yeah, at least sentiment. At least I don't think they'll be super affected financially. Sentiment wise, they're done.
Oh, I think
Sentiment
they
wise,
will be.
they
Financially, they
really
will
will.
be. I think it will hit them
I,
later. They
I
won't hit
think
them now. It'll hit them
people are,
later.
I think people are too locked in, and I think maybe over time you see all I can really see is like 10% boost to or a 10% overall decline to like their overall install base. Like if you want to, if PlayStation ends off, if PS5 ends off at like 110 million or something, 120 million, I would expect PlayStation 6 to get like. I definitely think they're breaking the 100 million mark. I definitely think so. They're just too because I think more people are gonna leave Xbox then migrate away from PlayStation. And I think they'll still want to be
They've
in
already
that.
left. They can't accrue
I
any
think,
more business from over there. The only business they can accrue from is Nintendo. But I don't think they're gonna do less than 100 million because of physical. They're just gonna do less than 100 million because of cost. They're just gonna be too
I think costs will
expensive.
be
The
massive.
return
Yeah,
or the amount of whatever they do new on the PS6, I don't think the return is going to be enough for gamers to say, yeah, this is worth $800, $700. I'll stick with my PS5. I'll stick with my PS5 Pro. I think the cross gen is going to go way deeper than the PS5,
Yeah, I'm just
PS4
gonna
ever
buy
did.
since I gotta
yeah.
just buy digital. I'm just gonna put like a $25 fucking maximum of what I'll spend on the game, and that's what. And then once those are done and
Yeah.
it's no longer supported, then I'm done.
Yeah, I'm not even buying a
I think a lot
PS6
of
at
people,
all. And that's the thing that's gonna
I think
hurt
a
them
lot
the
of people
most.
feel like that.
It's the hardcore. That's it. The hardcore. Like the hardcore physical guys like me who spent I mean, fuck, I've been spending thousands of dollars a year on PlayStation games, accessories. I mean, I
Three
bought
to five grand a year, I bet, is what
oh,
I figured
easily.
in.
Easily, because
Yeah.
I mean, I purchased about 4 PS5s total. I purchased 3 PS Portals. Controllers, I buy almost every single one that releases. All that's going away. Just this year already slowed down. As when the or the Pro got announced, I already started to withdraw from PlayStation. I'm like, look, these guys are keep taking away from me. They're not giving me anything in return. I'm fucking out. There's no so I've been out from PlayStation for a couple of years. This just cemented it. Um, I don't, I don't care. Like I said, I'm over it. I don't care for the new shit. Yeah, it looks cool. If it's available physical, I'll get it right now. Currently, if not, I'll get it on Nintendo. Nintendo's business is still 45% physical. Japan is 60% physical overall as a gaming community. So they're gonna lose a ton of people. And people forget, Japan is not a small country that's got 30, 40 million people. Japan's got over 100 million people. Like it surprised me when I saw the numbers. I think they're like at 110 or 111 million people in Japan. They are huge for that little island that they call
I was about
Japan.
to say that
Yeah,
island's packed.
Yeah,
there's a very small percentage of it that's actually inhabitable too, so people are
yeah.
condensed into very very small areas.
That's
That's
why
why everyone's like,
Tokyo's
"Oh,
so
they got
big.
amazing internet." Yeah, it's because everyone lives in that little island. Like 90% of people live in
Yeah.
10% of the area.
Yeah, they got a lot of people. I was shocked. I just found out about this like a month or two ago. I did not know that they had that many fucking people. Which is basically half of the US populace. Well, about 40%, because we got about close to 400 million now. But man, that's huge, man. I had no idea. And majority of their gamers are physical gamers. That's why you still get and, another thing, I'll say this at the end. If you guys want to chip in, you can. But that's another thing too that people don't understand is if you want to get a complete edition, this is why I don't think we'll get digital rights either. If you want to get a complete edition, remember those Game of the Year editions that you used to buy a year or two after a game release, where it came with a DLC, it came with all the skins. Do you know why we don't get those anymore? We actually do get those. We just don't get them in the West. Japan gets them. So if you want a complete edition of whatever game, you can still get it physical with everything in the cart, everything on the disc, but only in the West or the East. You know why not in the West? Because we're majority digital over here. So before, you used to be able to sell your complete edition game to somebody or GameStop, and it will be worth more because there's more content. Now you buy the complete edition, you just get digital codes. So when you trade it in, all you're trading back in is standard edition. The next person that buys that game, if they want the DLCs and shit, they just got to rebuy it over and over and over again. That's why we're not going to get any digital rights. They've already done the whole digital rights thing taken away from us by getting rid of these editions from us. Collector's editions, same shit. They don't even come with disc anymore. So I hope that doesn't happen. If they do give us digital rights, I have no problem with buying a PS6. But unfortunately, that's not what they want. That's not in their plans. It's not just about the money. It's about the control. And yeah, it's unfortunate, man. And the thing that worries me the most for the digital gamers is they want you. They are willing to sacrifice the millions of us, which I'm not saying millions are leaving. I'm just saying they're willing to lose the millions that are physical gamers to
Yeah,
get
they're
to you
even willing to
specifically.
cut people. They're even willing to cut people. Fucking sellers in to sell a digital code. Like
Yeah.
that completely defeats the purpose of fucking
Yep. They're
not
even
having
willing.
discs.
They're willing to even give up their 30% that they were supposed to get by going all.
That's not a good sign. It's like
That's
you're saving $1
no.
for the disc. That's
Like
it.
no, that's
I,
not. I'd be
I think
worried if
they
I was a
should.
digital
I think they
gamer.
should lose. I think that I think it is true that PlayStation is just super willing to. I think like they're willing to completely lose the entire physical game user base. Anybody who's using it, if they were really leaving, I think PlayStation would be fine with them leaving.
Oh,
And I
they
think
are.
that's and I think they deserve to then have those customers leave. Like I think they should. If there's like 30% of people who still play on disc, just saying for our argument's sake, I think they deserve to lose those 30%
I
because
I I
that's
just think
really
it
what they're
goes to show
gambling
if
with.
they're willing to sell a code in the box. This isn't even a financial call. This is 100% control.
Control call, yeah. At first, I thought it was a financial thing. I mean, I knew the control
Yeah,
was there,
at least that made sense.
but now
Well,
with
I
them
think the
saying
code in the box is just to appease
the retailers,
retailers.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's more than a retailer thing than
Yeah, I know, but
anything.
they're giving you everything but the disc.
yes,
The
that's the
disc
Yeah.
point.
is like 50
Yeah.
cents. That's the whole
If
point.
they would have just got rid of physical, then they would have got the 30%, right? Because if they sell Wolverine digitally, they keep 100% of the money. They sell Wolverine through Walmart, well, Walmart keeps 30% of that money, PlayStation gets 70. So by them getting rid of physical, you figured, okay, well, that's an incentive right there because now they're getting that 100%. So even if they lose 10 million physical gamers, it doesn't matter because that 30% increase per copy, Wolverine's going to sell probably 10, 15 million. That makes up the difference of the people that would have bought the game but didn't. But the fact that they're saying, you know what, retailers, you can keep your 30% because we're going to give you a digital code in the box. What's the only incentive then here? The money isn't the
You just
incentive
don't own it
anymore.
no more. That's
You
it.
just don't own it.
Yeah,
Exactly. So then what's going to
yeah, that
happen
makes
when
sense.
people are all digital now? Well, guys, PS Plus is going to go up again. Instead of 70, now it's $80. So instead of covering the cost for physical games and using that as an excuse of why they have to increase pricing, what's going to be their excuse now? Mr. Trump gave us a huge check for our tariffs last year, but this year the tariffs are increasing. Now we got like that excuse only works for so long, right? And digital, there
Yeah,
is
what
no
happens when
cost.
somebody else is president?
It's a push of a fucking button.
They'll come up with something else.
Something else. So if I was a digital gamer, I'd be concerned and I'd be worried because if they're willing to cut off their left arm to get to you, because they want you. We know this, right? They want you, the digital gamer. You're paying more per copy. You're spending more on the long run. They want you. So it's like I use the analogy of like digital gamer. This is what you are to PlayStation. PlayStation is a creepy old man who hasn't busted a nut in 10 years. You are the hot 21-year-old in a fucking miniskirt where if you sneeze, you show your pussy. And you are in a room with only one door, no windows, and he's standing in front of that door. You're the 21-year-old hot chick. Would you trust the old dirty man PlayStation to be in that room alone with you with only one way in and out and he's blocking it? Because that's the situation that you're going to be in once physical goes away. Physical acted as your bodyguard that was with you. So you can be as slutty as you want. You can pay $1 or $2 for your digital games because at the end of the day, you knew if you didn't want to pay $70, you can always go to GameStop, buy that game pre-owned for $55, $60 and save $10. And after you beat it, you go trade that bitch in again, get 40 and you at least get something back. So your next $70 game, you only pay 30. Now all that goes away. All of it. And if PlayStation was serious about giving you digital rights and actually promoting it so it made the transition smoother, they would have said something way before they even announced the end of physical games. She said something in the fucking interview that, oh yeah, after careful consideration, I don't think they considered it carefully. I think they made the decision a couple months ago and they're acting on it now. That's what I think. But who the fuck am I? I don't know anything. I think that GTA definitely gave them the green light. I think they told GTA, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. GTA said, okay, cool. More money for us. We don't got to print physical. They did it. PlayStation saw that people are pre-ordering games half a year in advance without showing any fucking gameplay, and people ate it up
Insane.
because it's GTA,
Insane.
even though they ain't put out a game in 10 fucking years. If you're
Mhm.
gonna pre-order GTA, it's fine. But why 6 months in advance? You're not gaining anything. Pre-order that bitch the week before. You have plenty of time for pre-download. You have plenty of time to get all the perks and whatever pre-order bonuses. Why 6 months in advance? I don't get it. But PlayStation saw that. They're
Nah,
like, all right, we're in there like swimwear. And they did. They pulled it off. So if you're okay with being that hot 21-year-old fucking baddie with the skirt, the size of a fucking rubber band, and you feel comfortable with PlayStation not doing the wrong thing to you, then all power to you. I don't have that confidence. I am out. I am willing to step out before I invest even more and get fucked in the end. Before eventually PlayStation stops taking movies and now they start taking games because they signed a deal with fucking Eminem for a song for a 10-second clip, and now the license expired 5 years later, and now they got to fucking redo the whole game or censor that part out. And that's another thing. You will never ever, as a digital gamer, be able to play a game as it was intended when it released. Ever. Because in 10 years from now, let's say the law changes or social norms are that saying ass, right, is too naughty. It's real easy. Let's just edit every game that said ass. So now when you click the game and you get to your favorite line, I'm going to kick your bitch ass. I'm going to kick your butt. That's what you're going to get. You will never, ever be able. Expedition 33, the developer said that Mael was too OP. They debuff her. They made her weaker. For a single player game, that's crazy to me. No digital gamer will ever be able to play Mael as she came out originally. The only people that are able to are the physical gamers. All we got to do is delete the game, install the game back in there with no internet, and we play the game as intended. So there's so many changes that are coming your way that I don't think digital gamers have realized because they're so used to coming home, the game updated while they were at work, so they don't even have to see the fucking game update. They come home, they fucking preload the fuck or pre-update or pre-download the game a week before it comes out. So as soon as it hits midnight, they're playing it right away. They don't got to wait in line at GameStop to pick it up or Best Buy, right? So there's so many things that they don't see that I think a lot of them have forgotten that happens. Everything's automatically smooth sailing, right? And because, and I didn't know this, I thought a lot of people replayed their games. From my understanding, not a lot of people do that. But you replay your game one time, or you play it the one time, you don't replay it again, so you're okay if PlayStation takes it because you're not going to revisit that game. FYI, that doesn't make it okay. Just because you don't replay the game that you spent $70 on doesn't mean that it's not your property and it shouldn't get treated as such. But hey, everybody got to make their own decision. And like I said, if you're okay with that, well, good for you. I'm not going to be with an all digital PlayStation when they do all digital the worst. It's that simple. But, Preacher, anything else you got to say, man, before we head out of here for the night?
I think we covered it really well, man. You know what I mean? I think we've come a long way in the discussion. You know what I mean? At least in the reality of the discussion. I think the theory really does maintain the same kind of, you know, ultimately, it's how far do you think Sony takes this, and how much advantage of this do you think they take? I think that this is their big play. I think their big play is to move everybody to digital in order to get a bunch
それ
of
から物語
that.
も結構複雑
It's a bunch of things, right? It is definitely for control and to make sure that they get most of the money, right? But I think the way that that turns around for us is maybe, or it should be at least, right, a cheaper PS6 because there's not going to be a disk drive for one, and there will be a reason to subsidize it because 100% of the players playing games will have to buy games digitally. You know what I mean? You can turn that around to shareholders in the company and say, "Hey, why are we losing $200 on this box every sale?" Oh, because players are 100% locked in and they will make that money back in like two games. So we can sell a PlayStation 6 for like
Well, Lintel said
700,
that
eight hundred
that won't
dollars.
happen. Remember? She said that the She said that well, number one, they haven't been subsidizing their consoles past the 6 months or 1 year mark since what, the PS3. That's the last console generation they subsidized for any amount of time. PS4 they stopped subsidizing pretty quick. PS5 even faster. I don't think they're gonna subsidize anything. But it'd be one thing if PlayStation wasn't making the most money in history. And that's the personality of PlayStation. The more money they make, the more extreme decisions they're making. So these decisions aren't even, like like the lady asked, are you getting rid of physical because of cost for the next gen? She said no. We're getting rid of physical because of consumer trends. So it ain't got nothing to do, according to them, with cost of things. And if
Well,
PlayStation,
they haven't said anything about the PS6, right? And I don't think they're gonna say anything about the
well, the
PS6 until
question was about the PS6. It was, do we for next gen? They didn't say PS6 specifically. They said next gen. They said, is it because of the cost of the next gen? Do you have to? Is it for margin purposes? And then she said, or is it current? And she said, no. We still have. The exact excuse or answer that she gave was, we were low because we didn't put out the games. But once our schedule get back and running, it won't be a problem. Which is the same thing they said about the condensers or whatever the fuck it was. She said the exact same thing. Is it won't be a problem later on. But I think that's a nice. It should work like that. They're saving the money. They should pass the savings forward. But that was the argument when they did digital on the PS3. They said that
yeah, I do
they don't
remember
have to
that.
do the cost, right? And look, 20 years later, they're still charging physical and digital the same. People say, well, how
Yeah,
about they just charge physical even more? Guess what? We have been paying more. Not only are we paying more already, we're waiting longer. Paradox, the Squid Game from Konami. I haven't played that game. My copy won't get here till November. High on Life 2. I waited 3 months after that game came out. Mouse PI. I waited 2 months after the game came out. So the fact that they can charge us more and make us wait longer to get the physical, we are already doing that. Resident Evil Requiem, that game sold out. People that had pre-orders didn't play that game till a week later because they sold out.
Yep, I had a guy pick up because I accidentally ordered 2 copies. The guy was like, "Oh man, I'll buy it from you because my kid wants one, but he can't get one physical because
Yeah.
they
My
don't
copy, I
exist."
didn't get one. Luckily, I found it somewhere else last minute. But my original copy that I pre-ordered in like November, I didn't get that bitch. I ended up getting another copy from somewhere else like the week before, and I ended up getting that one. I pre-ordered the deluxe edition originally, but we've already seen that. So it's not that they can't do it; it's just that they don't want to do it, guys. It's not that, because people have this other fallacy that no, it's just physical gamers have to just be more flexible. Fuck you, mean we have been flexible, and like I said at the very beginning of all this, the numbers still show that we buy physical. How do we know that? Even though the numbers change quarterly and percentages change quarterly, the number still has stayed the same throughout the years. Instead of going down, it has stayed the same. And that's 70 million plus physical games are being sold every year. As a matter of fact, you could make the argument that the number is going up because every year that goes by, the number stays the same, but the amount of physical games available are even lower. Every year, we're getting less and less physical games. Then we got the whole 100,007 games that sold 100,000 copies from whatever that fucking company is that does the numbers in North America, which once again is majority physical. But if you look at across the world, especially Japan, especially Asia, especially Europe, especially Latin America, those are all physical heavy markets. So PlayStation, people that don't think PlayStation will not be affected by this, they're right in a sense that they won't see the effects right away, but over time they will. There's only so much to go around. There's only so much money being made. There's only prices going up on everything. People are not going to be getting a PS6 day one at $700 on the cheap end when their rent went up, their groceries are going up. Not saying they're not going to get it at all. I'm just saying that day one, year one, the numbers are not going to be as strong, especially when they have a PS5 that's still working, especially when they don't have physical to combat some of that cost. Where, okay, I'll pay the 700 for a PS6, but my games, I can't get them day one because I can't afford 70, or by then it'll be 80. I'll just wait a month or two and then I'll get it on sale at 50 or 60. They won't have that option
think the
anymore.
games I think the games will
And the
have to
people that
be pretty
got
good.
fucking rows and rows of physical games that have kids and shit like that, you can count their kids out. That's a Nintendo
My
kid for
son will be
life.
out. Yeah, my son will never buy a PlayStation ever again.
Fuck no.
You know what I mean? And he's 10, so by the time he's
There's
old
no
enough to buy
chance
his
in
own
hell.
shit, he won't buy the PS7. He just won't buy PlayStation at all because I ended it. He won't grow up with that. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that PlayStation's gonna have to deal with later on. We talked about this with Nintendo. I forget the numbers, guys, but just to give you an example of kind of the situation that was happening, they did a survey of age of gamers, right? Millennials are the ones that spend the most money, which was an argument that I used of why they don't make more games geared towards us since we're the ones spending the most money. But Nintendo actually had the lowest by percentage of the youngest tier of age, which was like 8 to 12 years old or something like that. That percentage was the lowest with Nintendo, which puts Nintendo in danger for the future because as the years go on and those 8, 10, 12 year olds grow up, they're not in the Nintendo ecosystem. They won't have nostalgia to be sold on them in order to buy the next Mario. So Nintendo's doing well right now, but in 15 years, Nintendo's not going to be in the position it is now because you won't have those kids that grew up with it. PlayStation was at the highest. But now, without ending physical, the some of the biggest cheerleaders of PlayStation in general are the physical gamers. We're the ones doing the unboxings. We're the ones doing the collection videos. We're the ones doing the will it play with no internet videos, right? Those guys are now out. They're not going to be cheerleading anymore. Their family's not going to be fucking doing what dad did with PlayStation. And now that percentage is going to drop. I cannot wait to see those numbers again in a year or 2 or 3 years whenever they do this survey and see how what the difference is. But these are just speculations that I'm making, right? But yeah,
Yeah, no, this is.
it's a sad
Sorry,
it's
I
a
was just gonna say this is what's most interesting about this stuff is we're so close to it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
This stuff isn't something we're not gonna see 4, 5, 6. We'll be seeing what's happening with all this in the next like 18 to 20 months
Oh
and
yeah.
which way this all really goes.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I think
I think the
that
fan base will look a lot different in 5 to 10 years. That's all I'm
Oh
saying.
yeah.
yeah,
It'll look
yeah,
different in
and
2 to 3. I'll say even less than
I,
that.
I I think it will. I think it will. It just we'll see how much it just is going to depend on people
And we also have
standing
to
on it.
come to
And
the realization like GTA took what 13 years to come out? Like millennials like me, man, late 30s, early 40s, like a lot of us are
Yeah,
starting to
that's another
think
thing. PS6 ain't gonna have no GTA savior neither.
exactly. They're not gonna have, some of these they're only gonna get longer, so the next Wolverine game instead of 5 years will be 6, 7 years because now PlayStation wants to drop, instead of the next Kratos, they'll drop God of War Lofty. Not saying it's a good or bad game. I'm just saying the Kratos fans, now they're gonna wait another how many couple years to get another Kratos game. So now the length of time of getting the games you really want, the PS6, you're like, man, I'm not getting physical. I really want a God of War, but they're doing Lofty, so they're probably going to take them 3 years at the earliest to release another God of War, which will probably end up being 5 years because that's what PlayStation's been doing for the last 15 years. Is every 5 years they drop the studio drops a first party title. Now I'm gonna get my next God of War in 6, 7 years. GTA will be in 10 years, 15 years because they're gonna milk the fuck out of this one. Do I need a PS6? Even if I'm willing to go digital, that do I need? I'm waiting for the next Spider-Man. I'm waiting for the next Horizon. Well, for the next Horizon, we're getting the live service game. So then the next, Horizon 3 won't be for at least 4 or 5 years from now when it should have been in 2027. Now we won't get it because we're gonna get the live service shit. So now you're getting the cracks of the big IP that brought in a lot of people not getting the product timed because they fucked up with the live service on top of it. So once again, PlayStation is making more money than ever, true, but video game industry is just like a hose. Just because you shut off the water doesn't mean the hose stops spitting water instantly. As soon as you shut it off, the water that's at the beginning of the hose still has to get all the way through. That's why when people say this boycotting shit is not working, it's only a month in, man. It's not enough for PlayStation to notice any difference. As a matter of fact, the numbers they went over were the last quarter. Nothing to even do with physical then. So what are the numbers going to look like next quarter when they do the next quarterly update? That's the one we got to pay attention to. And guess what? Even if the numbers aren't bad, we talked about the hose analogy. The spigot is turned off doesn't mean the water stops automatically. I want to see the year over year numbers next year. I want to see the year over year numbers the first year of the PS6. That's what we're really going to start to see. Hey, did this thing actually affect them or not? Anybody who says that it's affecting them or not affecting them before next year, you're full of shit. There's just not enough time, not enough information to make that dictation right away. There just isn't. You have to wait at least until 2020 and middle of 2027 before we can start saying for certain that it's going this way or going that way. But either way, preacher, where can the people find you at, man?
You can always come check me out at the Pews 1511 on YouTube. You come check me out at passive underscore profit on Twitter to see some really salacious 260 character tweets. And you can catch me right here on the State of Gaming podcast, at least bi-monthly, to come whip up some chagrin in the chat. So appreciate the team always having me, and great discussion so far today.
Hell yeah. Like I told Preacher, he just lets me know when he wants to come on and we'll have him on if we can. So yeah, let me know, bro. You're more than welcome. Nelson, I already put your channel link in the chat earlier, but what can the people find you at?
Nelson Gaming 12 or no, Nelson's Gaming Culture on YouTube. Nelson Gaming 12 on PlayStation and Twitter. That's about it.
There
You
y'all
may see
have
Already.
it.
me more on Xbox next gen because I'll be playing a lot of 360.
Yeah, dude, I've just bought Final Fantasy 10, 10.2, and 10.3 for PS3. I've been buying some more PS3 shit. I've been buying a whole bunch. I just been buying so
You
much,
know,
especially
PS3 games are going fucking crazy right now.
yeah, I know. Well, because the
I
store's
don't have money
closing.
for this shit right though.
Remember, the people also forget about the digital gamer. What are you gonna do when the PS6 store closes? How are we
You
gonna get
don't.
those
Nothing.
games?
It's gone.
We
It's
can't
gone
get those
forever.
games physical. We can just say, "Oh, I'll just get it physical," like I did with Black Ops 2 and 3 or 1 and 2. I was able to get both copies for $20 physical for the PS3. That's the price of one if you have PS Plus and you get the 50% discount. Right now, you can still get PS3 physical games that are in the digital store. When the PS6 store closes, there is no physical alternative. Those games are lost forever. Or what they're going to end up doing, right? Because they can't control themselves, is they'll say they'll close the store and then they'll nickel and dime these games out. And then they're going to charge you the $60 for them, the $50 for them, the $40 for them, right? Because where else are you going to get them from? You can't get them physical. Like people just don't understand, bro. This whole only physical thing is a big, big fucking problem. But either
Well,
way,
these are the kinds of digital rights that we have to fight for, right? To be able to access that stuff in perpetuity, and the fact that they should be able to shut down those stores
It's not
would
even
leave us
access
with
because when
no
they shut, they're not
way.
going to keep a store open forever. And when it's gone, if you
Yeah,
missed the
they don't
game
have to keep the
because you were
store
a
open,
kid
but
or
they should
whatever,
have a,
there's no getting
yeah.
it again.
You
yeah, I
should
mean,
be able to read just like you do on your phone, right? If you go to your phone and you go to the store and you go to apps, right? It's going to show you every app that you've ever downloaded on your account, no matter how old it is, if it's still listed, right? And those are the kinds of things that we have to fight for to make, because these companies aren't going to do those things on their own, right? It's very easy for them to just delist something. It's very easy for them to just take our stuff away, right? But if you have laws in place that protect the digital consumer, right, you they should be able to shut that kind of thing down and get assurances from the company that our products that we buy are available to us. And those are the things that I think we need to look
but
towards.
preacher,
I think
I agree with you. But at the same time, the fight right now is physical. People don't want to fight for it. As a matter of fact, digital gamers are actively talking shit about the people that are fighting for it. The same thing's going to happen with digital rights. People are just not going to give a fuck about it. So it's
no,
one
I
fight
think
moving
I
to the
think that
other.
people I think it's something that people understand. I think people, well, I don't think people understand what digital rights are, but I think that this whole drama has brought it to the forefront. And I think people at least can understand that, hey, big companies are taking things away from people, and I think that that will spark. I think it should have been used here. You know what I mean?
But
I
physical
think we'll have to
trumps
look for
digital.
something
There's
else.
no amount of digital rights that they can give you that's going to trump
Physical's
physical rights.
physical's leaving. Physical is out the
I get
window.
it. Digital
There is
rights are
no.
out the window too.
I don't think so. I think digital rights are still well within our grasps. I think that the argument
Nope.
is muddied by physical. And I think that that's the ultimate. I think that that's the ultimate difference, right? It's what do you believe is going to happen? If you believe that the death of physical is going to lead to the death of overall ownership in gaming in general, and that there's no other way to what I mean,
It's not that there's no
get
other
there
way.
besides physical, or that the companies will obstruct it beyond what any even law
But
policy
what's
can
easier, to
provide
take
us.
something away or to implement something new?
Well, it's not about what's easier. You know what I mean? It's about what can be.
Yeah,
It's
you don't
about what
think if you
should
didn't
be
own it
done.
physically, if fucking companies could go in and get your shit, they'll always do that.
Yeah,
That's the only thing
Right.
that's they
Which
can't
is
go
the
to
only
everyone's
thing.
house and
The only
collect this
thing.
shit. That's the only
There is
reason they
no
don't.
recourse. There's no recourse we have to that. There's no recourse we have to that besides the law. And there's no law protecting us right now. What we need is legislation. There's no amount of noise we can make that's going to make a company do this stuff. And I hope that this, if nothing else, has shown
the
that
law
the
didn't protect
noise that we
physical,
can make is simply not enough because it was a lot of noise. People made a lot of
and
noise
it didn't
about
change
physical,
nothing for
and
physical,
it didn't change a thing. It
and
didn't
it's not
change
going
a
to change
thing.
for digital either.
So we need to understand. I don't think that's true.
If
I
it
don't.
if
I hope that that's
Then how
not
come
true.
our
Maybe
movies,
it is
our
true.
ebooks, our music is still getting taken away? And it's not
I
new.
think
This is
because
nothing new. Ebooks started getting
I
taken
think
away back in 2009 and 8.
well, look at the way that this backlash has presented, right? None of this stuff is really new, right? None of this stuff happening is new, except that the physical games are, that PlayStation is not printing the physical discs anymore, right? Aside from that, the actual ownership, dynamic that we have hasn't changed at all. It's one piece being taken, but the whole is really the issue. And I think that if we had, I think maybe the time has passed, which is where you can say that what I mean, backlash kind of failed because we didn't get anything from it. You know what I mean? If you're going to say that, I don't think it necessarily failed because again, you got to keep that sort of sentiment up. And like you said before, keeping that pressure on them is part of the battle. But I
So
think
why
that
do you
also
think that if that physical failed to get any protections, why do you think that digital will succeed in getting protections?
because digital will be around a lot longer and people are now more willing to fight for it, right? We're having
Digital's
this
been around forever,
conversation now,
man.
Physical's
but
been
it's
around for
going to keep
thousands of
being around.
years. I
But
mean,
it's
we
going to
talking
keep
about
being around.
like for
See,
example, in my
physical is
video, I talked
it's going to
about
end.
baseball cards, right? The first cards were invented in the Tao Dynasty 1,000 years ago. In today's day, what is the most popular card? Pokemon cards. Cards are still around. Thousands of physical is the thing that is timeless, will never go away. Digital can go away with an EMP bomb, server crash, the store closing. Digital is such at risk of being shut down for the most mundane things. It doesn't have to be anything great. It could just be we don't want to pay our light bill this month for this server and it gets shut down, the game gets delisted.
Yeah,
It
that's
could
why
be
online games like we
physical
can't
is
afford to keep
literally
the servers going
forever.
anymore.
Literally, there's games that are licensed for 2, 3 years. Look at John Wick Hex. That game was licensed for 3 years. You will never ever be able to get that game ever again digitally, never unless you already own it. But physical, you can. Blu-ray discs, they're rated for 100 years. Cartridges, even longer. As far as longevity, preservation, ownership goes, the most secure way, cheapest way is physical. So that's why I just don't think that they're going to come in and say, you know what, digital is the future, digital is the new thing that we really have to focus in. Because if they didn't care about the most secure, it's like having a gold brick. basically what the conversation is the gold brick is no longer good. We need to focus on the actual paper dollar bill. It's like, well, if they didn't secure the gold brick that's been around for centuries, why would they focus on the dollar bill paper when it's the newest thing? And it's the most easily replaceable. It's the thing that you can change at a whim, the easiest. It's nothing, it's not as concrete as like having an actual piece of metal. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
we
that's
have
just
more laws around around paper money than we do gold bricks. You know what I mean? Because paper money is more used. It's more people are more there are more digital consumers, right? We know that. We can at least agree on that. There's more
well, yeah.
digital consumers, not just of games, but of all mediums, right? There
Mm-hmm.
are more digital consumers than there are physical consumers, right? For that reason, I believe digital consumer rights will change. It's not if they will change, it's eventually they will have to change. Just like how things happen with phone chargers. Now everything's moving over to C because the UK spanked Apple, right? It only takes one good lawsuit to really set a precedent that a company cannot break without,
Well,
you
PlayStation
know,
got multiple
large
lawsuits,
fines.
not just one. They got lawsuits all over the world. But
Oh yeah. Yeah,
using
and they
that
deserve
paper
to lose a
analogy,
bunch
the
of them.
reason that paper money is more regular than gold is because paper money is not yours. It's a note borrowed to you from the government. Same thing with
Yeah,
digital.
and it can
It's
become worthless in the matter of
in a
seconds.
matter of seconds. Gold, they can't
Gold will always
control
have
it.
value.
That's the thing with physical. Yeah, you can say, well, the physical game is just a license as well. Okay, well, come to my house and take it from me. You're not. You know what I mean? But all right, we're getting here. This is a good one. But either way, guys, hit the like and subscribe button. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Keep it gaming.